Everybody, keep your spine erect, chin away from your chest, eyes gently closed. Shift your eye gaze to the third eye, the Jyotishmati, the light of awareness within. Take a deep breath and exhale. We'll begin today's session with an opening chant. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrutyorma Amrutangamayam. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Welcome to today's special MahaShivarathri Satsang. What an auspicious day to celebrate the Shiva-Tattvam within each one of us. Shiva refers to that infinite space, both manifested and unmanifested. So let's Om Namah Shiva-yah, that we salute to that infinite energy, Shiva-yah, that is within us. That's within us. That's what one definition of the Panchakshara mantra. So what we will do today is we'll start with simple Rudram Namakam Chanting, and then we will cover some of the Yoga Sutra essence. Shiva is also referred to as the Adi Yogi. What a great way to contemplate on some of the Yoga Sutra essence and how it can apply to our day-to-day life. And then we'll open up for any chanting or singing that we would like to do. And before we begin, let's chant. Let's open today's session with the Ganesh mantra. Savitha Garu, do you want to chant anything with the Ganesh mantra?
Not today.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
We chant one. Om Shri Vakratunda Mahakaya Koti Surya Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Shubhakaryeshu Sarvadham. Okay, so we're going to start with Rudram Namakam chanting, and I'm going to sing along. If you are comfortable, you can also sing along. And again, we surrender whatever comes out to the Lord Ishvara, to the Shiva, but we'll try to give our best effort. So I'm going to play with a track, and then we'll try to chant along.
Cole, he's my miracle child. So how does your miracle child?
Namo Bhagavate Rudraya. Om Namaste Rudramanyavabhuto Daishave Namaha. Namaste Astu Dhanvane Bahubhyamutate Namaha. Yata Isha Shivatamaji Bhavovate Dhanoho Shiva-Sharavya Tavataya Shobhaye Pitaro.
Ramakanth ji, can you hear the sound now?
Yeah, we can hear the song.
Okay.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya. Om Namaste Rudramanyava Bhutota Ishave Namaha.
Srini, we can't hear now.
Namaste astu dhanvane bahubhyamutate namaha.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, we can.
Isha Shivatama Shivam Bhagavate Dhanaha. Shiva-Sharavyaya Tavataya no Rudramnaya. Yate Rudra Shiva Tanora Ghora Papakashini. Tayanastanu Vashantamaya Girishantavitakashi. Yamisham Girishantahaste Vivarshastave. Shivangiritratam Gurumahikam Sir Purushan Jagata. Shirena Vachasat Vagirishat Chavadamasi. Yadanas Sarvamijjagada Yakshmagam Sumana Asat. Adhyavochadati Bhakta Prathamo Devyo Bhishata. Ahigascha Sarvan Brahmayan Sarvachaya Dudhanyaha. Asauyastamro Arula Utapabhrasu Mangalaha. Ye Chevagam Rudra Adhito Dikshusrita Sahasrasho Vaishagum Hena Imahe. Asauya Vasarpati Nilagrevo Vilohitaha. Urainam Gopa Adrasham Nashashannudahanyaha. Utainam Vishwa Bhutani Sadrishto Mranayatinaha. Namo Astu Nilagrevaya Sahasrakshaya Nidushe. Ato ye asya sattvano hantebhyo karam namaha. Navanja dhammasasthamupayoratniyorjyan. Yascha te hasta ishavah parata bhagavo vapa. Kavatatyatanustvadum sahasrakshasate shudhe. Nishirya Shalyanam Mukha Shivonas Sumana Bhava. Vidyandhanukka Pardino Vishalyo Manavagum Puta. Aneshan Asye Shava Apurasya Nishangatihi. Yate Hetir Midushtamahaste Babhuvate Dhanuhu. Yasmayaksmaya paribhuja. Namaste astvayudhaya latataya drishnave. Ubhabhyamutate namo bahubhyam tavadhanvane. Parite dhanvano hetirasman vranaktu visvataha. Adhoya ishu kristavare asmannite hitam. Shambhave namaha. Namaste astu bhagavan Vishveshwaraya Mahadevaya Trimbakaya Tripurantakaya Trikagrikalaya Kalagrirudraya Nilakantaya Mrityunjayaya Sarveshwaraya Sadashivaya Srimanmahadevaya Namaha. Namo Hiranyavahave पिञ्जराय श्रीमते पथीनां पतये नमो नमो भद्रुषाय विद्याधिनेन्द्राणां पतये नमो नमो हरिकेशायोपवीतिने पुष्टानां पतये नमो नमो भवस्य हेते जगतां पतये नमो नमो रुद्राय तथामिने क्षेत्राणां पतये नमो नमः सूताय हन्त्याय वनानां पतये नमो नमो रोहिताय स्तपतये वृक्षाणां पतये नमो नमो मन्त्रिणे वाणिजाय कक्षाणां पतये नमो नमो भुवन्तये वारिवस्कृताय औषधीनां पतये नमो नमः उच्चैर्घोषाय क्रन्दयते पत्नीनां पतये नमो नमः कृत्स्नभीताय धावते सत्त्वनां पतये नमः नमः सहमानाय निर्व्याधिनां पतये नमो नमः क्रतुवाय निषङ्गिने तेनानां पतये नमो नमो निषङ्गिन इषुधिमते तस्कराणां पतये नमो नमो वञ्चते परिवञ्चते स्थायूनां पतये नमो नमो निचेरते परिचरायारण्यानां पतये नमो नमः श्रिता विद्यो जिघागं सद्यो मुष्टदां पतये नमो नमो शिवद्यो नक्षन्दरप्रकृन्तानां पतये नमो नमः पुष्टीशिने गिरिचराय कुरुञ्चानां पतये नमो नमः इषुमद्यो तन्वाभ्यष्टभो नमो नमः तन्वानेभ्यः प्रतिदधानेभ्यश्च भो नमो नमः आयच्छद्भ्यो विसृजद्भ्यश्च भो नमो नमो सस्यभ्यो विद्यद्भ्यश्च भो नमो नमः आसीनेभ्यश्च यानेभ्यश्च भो नमो नमः सपद्भ्यो जाग्रद्भ्यश्च भो नमो नमस्तिष्ठद्भ्यो जावद्भ्यश्च भो नमो नमः सभाभ्यः सभापतिभ्यश्च भो नमो नमो अश्वेभ्यो स्वपतिभ्यश्च भो नमः नमः व्याधिनेभ्यो विविद्धेभ्यश्च भो नमो नमः उगणाभ्यस्तगं हतेभ्यश्च भो नमो नमो वृत्सेभ्यो वृत्सपतिभ्यश्च भो नमो नमो व्रातेभ्यो प्रतपतिभ्यश्च भो नमो नमो गणेभ्यो गणपतिभ्यश्च भो नमो नमो विरूपेभ्यो विश्वरूपेभ्यश्च भो नमो नमो महद्भ्यः स्थूलकेभ्यश्च भो नमो नमो रथेभ्यो रथेभ्यश्च भो नमो नमो रथेभ्यो रथपतिभ्यश्च भो नमो नमः सेनाभ्यः सेनानिभ्यश्च भो नमो नमः क्षत्रुभ्यः सङ्ग्रहेतृभ्यश्च भो नमो नमस्तक्षभ्यो रथकारेभ्यश्च भो नमो नमः कुलालेभ्यः कर्मारेभ्यश्च भो नमो नमः पुण्यश्रेभ्यो निषादेभ्यश्च भो नमो नमः इषुकृभ्यो धन्वकृभ्यश्च भो नमो नमो मृगयुभ्यः स्वरिभ्यश्च भो नमो नमः स्वभ्यः स्वपदेभ्यश्च भो नमः नमो भवाय च रुद्राय च नमः शर्वाय च पशुपतये च नमो नीलग्रीवाय च शितिकण्ठाय च नमः कपर्दिने च व्यक्तकेशाय च नमः सहस्राक्षाय च शतधन्वने च नमो गिरिशाय च शिपिभिष्टाय च नमो भीरुष्टमाय चेषुमते च नमो अश्वाय च वामनाय च नमो बृहते च वर्षेयसे च नमो वृद्धाय च संवृद्धने च नमो अग्र्याय च प्रथमाय च नमः आशवे चार्याय च नमः शीघ्रियाय च शीघ्राय च नमः पूर्व्याय च वत्सन्याय च नमः स्रोतस्याय च द्वीप्याय च नमो ज्येष्ठाय च कनिष्ठाय च नमः पूर्वजाय च परजाय च नमो मध्यमाय च पगल्भाय च नमो जघन्याय च बुद्ध्याय च नमः सोऽभ्याय च प्रतिसर्याय च नमो याम्याय च क्षेम्याय च नमः उर्वर्याय च खल्याय च नमः श्लोक्याय तामसान्याय च नमो वन्याय च कक्ष्याय च नमः श्रवाय च प्रतिश्रवाय च नमः आशुषेणाय चाशुरताय च नमः शूराय चावभिन्दते च नमो वर्मिणे च वरोधिने च नमो बिल्बिने च कवचिने च नमः श्रुताय च श्रुतसेनाय च नमो दुन्दुभ्याय च हनन्याय च नमो धृष्टवे च प्रमृषाय च नमो धूताय च प्रहिताय च नमो निषङ्गिने चेषुधिमते च नमः तीक्ष्णेषवे चायुधिने च नमः स्वायुधाय च सुधन्वने च नमः श्रुत्याय च पथ्याय च नमः काट्याय च नीत्याय च नमः सूद्याय च सरस्याय च नमो नाद्याय च वैशन्ताय च नमः कूप्याय च भट्याय च नमो वर्षाय च वर्षाय च नमो मेघ्याय च विद्युत्याय च नमः इन्द्रियाय च तप्याय च नमो वात्याय च रेष्म्याय च नमो वास्तव्याय च वास्तुकाय च नमः सोमाय च रुद्राय च नमस्ताम्राय च नुराय च नमः शङ्गाय च पशुपतये च नमः उग्राय च भीमाय च नमो अग्रे पथाय च दूरे पथाय च नमो हन्त्रे च हनीयसे च नमो वृक्षेभ्यो हरिकेशेभ्यो नमस्ताराय नमः शम्भवे च मयोभवे च नमः शङ्कराय च मयस्कराय च नमः शिवाय च शिवतराय च नमः शीर्ष्याय च पूज्याय च नमः कार्याय च भार्याय च नमः प्रतरणाय चोत्तरणाय च नमः आचार्याय च माध्याय च नमः शिष्ट्याय च फेन्द्याय च नमः सिकत्याय च प्रभाक्याय च नमः हिरण्याय च प्रमध्याय च नमः इदं शिलाय च क्षयणाय च नमः प्रपद्दिने च पुलस्तये च नमः गोष्ठ्याय च कृत्याय च नमः सौभ्याय च गेह्याय च नमः आट्याय च गह्वरेष्ठाय च नमो हृदयाय च निवेष्ट्याय च नमः पादं संव्याय च रजस्याय च नमः शुष्क्याय च हरित्याय च नमो लोप्याय चोलप्याय च नमः ऊर्व्याय च सूर्व्याय च नमः पर्ण्याय च पर्णसद्याय च नमः प्रगुरमाणाय च विघ्नते च नमः आर्खिदते च प्रक्षिदते च नमो भक्तिरिकेभ्यो देवानागं हृदयेभ्यो नमो विक्षेणकेभ्यो नमो विजिन्वत्केभ्यो नमः आलेहकेभ्यो नमः आदिभक्तेभ्यः द्रावे अन्धसस्पते दरिद्रन्नेन लोहि साधिता येषां पुरुषाणामेषां पशूनां माभेर्मानो येषां किञ्चनामवत् या ते रुद्रशिवा तनोः शिवा विश्वाः भेषजे शिवा रुद्रस्य भेषजे तया नो मृणजीवसे इमागं रुद्राय तवसे कपर्दिने क्षयद्देनाय प्रभरामहे पतिम् यदा नश्यमसद्विपदे चतुष्पदे विश्वं पुष्टं ग्रामे अस्मिन्नदातुरम् मृडानो रुद्रोतनो मयस्कृते क्षयद्देनाय नमसा विधेमते यच्छञ्चयोश्च मधुराय देविता ततश्यामकवरुद्रप्रणीतौ मानो महान्तमुतमानो अर्भकं मानवुक्षन्तमुतमानवुक्षिलम् मानो वदेत्पितरं मोतमातरं प्रियामानस्तनुवो रुद्ररीरिषः मानस्तोकेतनये मान आयुषिमानो गोषुमानो अश्वेषुरीरिषः वीरान्मानो रुद्रभामितो वधे हविष्मन्तो नमसा विधेमते आरात्ते गोघ्नमुलमोरुशक्रे क्षयद्देराय संनमस्ते ते अस्तु रक्षा च नो अधिच देव गृह्यथा च नः शर्म यच्छद्विपर्हः सुनिःश्रुतङ्गत्तसदय्युपानं मृगन्नभीममुपहत्तमुग्रम् मृडाचरित्रे रुद्रस्तवानो अन्यन्ते अस्मन्निवपन्तु सेनाः परिणो रुद्रस्य हेतुर्वृणक्तु परित्वेषस्य दुर्मतिरभायो अवस्थिरामघवद्भ्यस्तनश्वमेध्वस्तोकायतनयाय मृणया मेरुष्णमशिवतमशिवो नः सुमना भवान् परमे वृक्ष आयुधन्निदाय कृत्यं वसान आचल पिनाकं बिभ्रदागहे विगिरिलविलोहित नमस्ते अस्तु भगवः यास्ते सहस्रगुम्भेतयोऽन्यमस्मन्निवपन्तु ताः सहस्राणि सहस्रधा बाहुवोस्तव हेतयः तासाबीजानो भगवः पराचीना मुखाकृते सहस्राणि सहस्रशो ये रुद्रा अधिभूम्या तेषागुं सहस्रयोजने वधन्वानि तन्मसे अस्मिन् महत्यर्णवेऽन्तरिक्षे पवामहे नीलग्रीवार्षिनिकण्ठाः शर्वा अथः क्षमाचनाः नीलग्रीवार्षिनिकण्ठादिवनं रुद्रा उपश्रिताः ये वृक्षेषु स्वस्तिञ्जरा नीलग्रीवा विलोहिताः ये भूतानामधिपतयो विशिखासक्तपद्मिनः ये अन्नेषु विविध्यन्ति पात्रेषु पिबतो जनाः ये पथां पतिरक्षयैलवृदायव्युतः ये तीर्थानि प्रचरन्ति सुगावन्तो निषङ्गिणः एवावन्तश्च भूयागुंसश्च दिशो रुद्रावितस्थिरे तेषागुं सहस्रयोजने वदन्वानि तन्मसे नमो रुद्रेभ्यो ये पृथिव्या ये तरिष्ये ये दिवि येषामन्नं वातो वर्षमिषभस्तेभ्यो दश प्राचीर्दश दक्षिणा दश प्रतीचीर्दशो एतीर्दशोऽध्वास्तेभ्यो नमस्ते नो मृणयन्तु ते यं भीष्मो यश्च नो ते स्थितं भोजं ते दधामि त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् यो रुद्रो अग्नौ यो अप्सुय ओषधेषु यो रुद्रो विश्वा भुवनाभिवेश तस्मै रुद्राय नमो अस्तु तमुष्टु हियश्रिषुः सुधन्वायो विश्वस्य क्षयति वेषजस्य यक्ष्वामहेशो मनसाय रुद्रं नमो देवमसुरन्दुवस्य अयं मे हस्तो भगवान् अयं मे भगवत्तरः अयं मे विश्वभेषजोऽयं शिवाभिमर्शनः एते सहस्रमयुतं पाशा मृत्यो मत्याय हन्तवे तान् यज्ञस्य मायया सर्वानवयजामहे मृत्यवे स्वाहा मृत्यवे स्वाहा ॐ नमो भगवते रुद्राय विष्णवे मृत्युर्मे पाहि प्राणानां ग्रन्थिरसि रुद्रो माविशान्तकः एनान्नेनाप्यायस्व सदा शिवो ॐ अग्ना विष्णो सजोषसेना बद्धन्तु माङ्गिरः वाजश्च मे प्रसवश्च मे प्रयतिश्च मे प्रसिद्धिश्च मे धीतिश्च मे क्रतुश्च मे स्वरश्च मे श्लोकश्च मे श्रावश्च मे श्रुतिश्च मे ज्योतिश्च मे शुभश्च मे प्राणश्च मे मानश्च मे ज्ञानश्च मे नृश्च मे चित्तं च महाधीतं च मे वाक्च मे मनश्च मे चक्षुश्च मे श्रोत्रं च मे चक्षश्च मे बलं च महोदश्च मे सहश्च आयुश्च मे जला च आत्मा च मे तनोश्च मे शर्म च मे वर्म च मे गानि च मे स्थानि च मे परोरुंषि च मे शरीराणि च मे
Welcome everybody. That's a little bit of Rudram Namakam and the 12 Anuvakas, followed by the first Anuvaka from Chamakam. Does anybody have any thoughts or comments and what their reflections on Rudram? Uma garu, Ramakanth garu, Vinita garu, it's been a long time since we saw you.
I don't have any thoughts. I mean, I've mostly heard Lingashtakam and not Rudram much of.
This is Vinita garu, namaste.
Hello, Andy. Namaste.
Have you ever recited Rudram or in your house? Have you listened to Rudram?
Every week on Monday I listen. I never chanted. So today I want to join you guys.
That's cool. Ramakanth
Every
garu?
Monday at temple we listen that.
I think it's a good habit because it also helps with our own practice of pranayama and also creating the vibrations in your body. It's something that Ramakanth garu, anything that you have any reflections?
No reflections. Is the joy of getting into the no mind or no thought is the joy of chanting or listening to Namakam.
Yeah, Namakam. Actually, there are some beautiful verses where they equate Shiva to every dimension in the universe. In fact, some of the verses says, Sabha Pataye Namo Namaha. So if the world is, if the universe is the Sabha, and you are the Sabha Pate Namo Namaha. And Umagaru, one of your favorite verses, Taskaranam Pate Namo Namaha. Taskaranam, which is like, I think you have some commentary, right?
No, you were saying Shiva is a thief, and I had to look it up, and I said he's not.
The Lord of the thieves. Taskaranam Pate Namo Namaha. So which is like, what it means. Actually, there is an interpretation why Shiva or any divine is considered as a thief is, there is one interpretation. What it means is, a thief is generally somebody who does something, but we cannot hold of them. We cannot really see, he's hiding, he or she is hiding. So, look at this entire universe is being at the play by that invisible force, but we cannot really, find it. So that's one of the reasons, I believe, or at least that's one of the interpretations that I've heard from the interpretation of Namakam. Taskaranam Pataye Namo Namaha, which is like, you're the Lord of all the thieves. When you're the Lord of the thieves, that means, you can actually control them, but at the same time, you're also the one that can be paid like this. And then there are many phrases, and I think the most popular one is the one after the first Anuvakam, where in fact Sadhguru always chants it: Namaste Astu Bhagavan Vishveshwaraya Mahadevaya Triambakaya Prantaka Trikagnikalaya Kalagni Rudraya Neelakantaya Mrityunjayaya Sarveshwaraya Sadasivaya Sriman Mahadevaya Namaha. So that's that one phrase is used by Sadhguru in many of the songs. Actually, there is a dedicated song, Yogeshwaraya, which just goes on repeat chant. And then the way it ends is the whole Namakam is the praise of Lord across all the dimensions of the Shiva, including Indraya, you are the energy, you are the electric, you are the wind, all these expletives and explorations, and then in the end it actually ends with Tena Ne Pyayasva. And basically says like, the only wish that we would say is like, make our words and thoughts and actions be as sweet like honey. Tena Ne Pyayasva. What a beautiful way to end it. Praise everything and then make my words and thoughts be as sweet like honey. And that's how it ends. And then we move into the Chamakam, and the Chamakam is it starts with seeking all the blessings. And the way the first I only studied the first one, and it just blew my thing away, and it also comes close to my personal life. But what it basically says, Shiva, you are the energy, you are the food, but you're also the one who can transmit the consumed food into energy. In today's world, some of us, we may have the food, but we don't have the capacity to digest it and translate that into energy manifestation. Even for that, you need the Chaitanyam to be in the perfect harmony state, in the perfect yoga state. Some kids, I actually remember when I went to Art of Living Part 1 course, there were a few folks that came in. They basically said they don't even feel hunger. They don't even feel hunger. Or even when they, consume something, it just, doesn't get digested properly, or it doesn't get translated into the nutrition. So everything that happens in the universe, the Jivatma within inside, is only when the Chaitanyam is in the Chaitanyam is in the harmony state, that when we are blessed. We are blessed when we keep our body and the mind in a harmonious state. And then it basically says, that same food that we consume, it gets transformed into energy, and that energy eventually Swaraschame, Slokaschame, Shravashame, Shrutischame, Ditischame, and it basically then becomes the sound, and it becomes our voice, and then from there it becomes Shlokaschame, Shravashame, Shrutischame. Ditischame, Kratuschame, give us the courage and give us everything that we want to do. So it goes into this. So everything that we are able to do is only because of that infinite energy. And what a beautiful way. And the same definition, same metaphors or same type of expression. You can also see that in Vishnu Sahasranama, and you can also see that in Durga Sutkam, or if you were to look at the Ganesha Stotram, and again it goes to the same thing. What a beautiful way that Sanatana Dharma allowed each one of us to pick our own deity of the divine form, and then equate that to the entire universe, both within and all around. Both within and all around. Ramakanth garu, anything? Uma garu, anything? I know you are you're an embodiment of Shiva. You play with Shiva all the time. Any reflection?
I just love Shiva. That's all. I am no embodiment. Just love Shiva chants. That's just been my favorite. I don't know. I do like him.
And the thing is, for me, it was just an amazing thing. As Savitha was saying earlier, we all kind of grew up listening to Lingashtakam and then a couple of other prayers. But somehow personally, I was more attracted. I was celebrating more of the Vishnu and Vishnu Sahasranamam and so on and so forth. And then I think in the last probably about 6 years, I'm more drawn to the Shiva energy. I started celebrating the Shiva dimension. And it started with, I think one is Sadhguru has a big role for that. And then there is this book, a novel written by Amish Tripathi, is Kings of Meluha. And that also describes the Adi Yogi in a human form. And I think in that novel, it was referred to as Nilakant, and that was done very beautifully. So that Sadhguru and that novel, and then that allowed me to explore the Shiva dimension, more. And now I'm in love with it, the Adi Yogi and the Shiva dimension.
All gods are same, right? So it's okay, whichever one we're attached to.
Exactly, and you can see the entire same thing, and eventually, when we get into the Yoga Sutra thing, it basically says Eka Tattva Abhyasa. All gods are the same. You can pick one, and then you should be able to see the same deity form in all the other forms. The oneness, instead of getting into compartmentalization, which is like, Shiva is greater, or Vishnu is greater, or Jesus is greater. When you are able to see your own favorite deity in all the forms. And I believe there is this one shloka, one verse in the Vishnu Sahasranamam that used to be one of my favorite. Avikaraya Shuddhyaya Nityaya Paramatmane Sadaika Rupa Rupaya Vishnave Prabha Vishnave. Did I get that right, Ramakantji? Ramakanth garu? Sadaika Rupa.
Yes, absolutely, yes.
What it basically says, right, the first one, it basically says like, the one without form or one without any mutations. It's that the Nirvikara Rupam. And then Sadaika Rupa Rupaya Vishnave. You should be able to see that same Vishnu in every form, in any form that's around there. I think all the divine expressions of the forms are like that. So I would strongly encourage.
You at least listen to Lalit. You did Lalita Sahasranamam, and then Savi says, she did which one did you do? Lingashtakam and all that? Mine was like a movie song. That was fun.
Lingashtakam is what I grew up with. Never grew up with
Not me, Savi, very little. My mom used to do puja, but she never really pulled us into it, and she would just read whatever in the little books, and that was it.
The Lingashtakam made.
Can anybody tell me what is there are so many stories comes up, like thinking, what's the significance of Shivaratri? Like, is it because he drank poison, like Nilakanta, he became Nilakanta that day?
Doesn't he? I think he marries Parvati today.
So many stories, right? I can Google search, but if somebody can narrate what is it actually today? Why do we celebrate Shivaratri? Another story I also remember is saying he will be asleep today. That's why we have to be awake. I mean, I don't know.
I, I see, I
Yeah.
see that. No,
I
basically,
don't know. That's what
it
is
is
some of the
actually,
stories.
there are reasons why you are not allowed. We are not allowed to sleep, because today is supposed to be when all the energies are moving upward. The yogic energies are moving upwards. So this is the best time to keep your spine erect, so that you actually let that energies flow through you, or you get you get the best opportunity to be in tune with the universe. And apparently we get about 12 to 13 Shivaratris every year.
And that's why it's called MahaShivarathri. This is the
Today
big
is the
one.
MahaShivarathri. That's when the whole the planet Earth and then the cosmos, where all the energies are the yogic energies are being poured. So whoever is actually keep the spine erect, so they are in tune, like a yoga. So you are able to kind of connect to that essence. And that's the reason why we are supposed to be meditating on Shiva and keep your spine erect is one interpretation that I've heard. And that's
I'm
why
familiar with that one too, Srini. To keep your spine straight. They tell you, even if you have to lean on a wall, go sit by a wall, sit straight.
it's right.
And
Yeah,
and
I
check.
didn't know this until Sadhguru, actually. I heard Sadhguru saying this one.
Yeah, this is a Sadhguru thing. And the thing is, what one of the things, this was basically what people used to say is like, do more of japa. Today is supposed to be one of the major things. So we always used to keep the thing. And then that's why people say it's like Jagaranam, Jagaranam, you should do it. But the thing is, it basically became more of when you are in India, more of a movie time. First show, second show, third show, whatever. The goal is how to stay awake.
But these are bhakti movies that you watched?
No, initially it used to be bhakti movies. Later on, I mean, later on,
It's a good question.
Right. So basically,
Anything that keeps you awake.
Anything that you say, because you keep that antenna up, but what you're doing with that antenna was different. The whole thing with spine is erect. You're not supposed to sleep, but the whole thing is like, you're supposed to be in the meditative state. Like, meditation is also where you keep your spine erect. So in the meditation, one of the biggest requirements is to keep your spine erect, so that you're able to tune to the cosmic antenna, so that you become.
And then move the basal energy from the lowest chakra toward the top, right? Toward the sahasrara. That is the goal. If you bend forward, then the energy doesn't have kind of basically try to get your Ida Pingala passing through the Shushumna, which happens if you keep, spine straight. One of the requirements.
Right. And the thing is, absolutely. I think, the spine always, that's one of the reasons why when you sleep or even doing the yoga nidra, that's not considered meditation. Meditation is to keep your spine erect. Right. So the spine erect, so that it also allows for that kundalini, or, but all these things are mystical things, something that is not in our experience, we shouldn't be talking about. The thing was, at least my childhood memory, like the Lingashtakam is, I remember, I think it was in my 6th grade or 7th grade, we made the first trip to Srisailam. And then that's it. That's when the Balasubramaniam tape became the thing. And then every day morning was like SP Balasubramaniam and Lingashtakam. And that was, which used to be a beautiful memory every day in the morning. So that's cool. If you allow me, we'll spend some time looking into some of the Yoga Sutra knowledge. And then Savitha Garu, if you want to prepare, maybe perhaps you can treat us with Lingashtakam.
I don't recall. I mean, I don't know by heart, but we can just definitely, if you put the same SP Balasubramaniam Lingashtakam is also here also. So we can all chant.
We can all chant. Actually, that Balasubramaniam stuff is very much programmed. So let me shift gears. Ramakanth, got anything that you want to offer for Shivaratri? Your practices, anything special that you do, either from the child or now?
Or you can chant for us, Ramakanth.
Yeah.
I don't do anything special.
Shiva offering. I mean, for me, just dissolving is the only thing I know. So all I know is being a no mind today. Honestly, it's very difficult. Of course, there are bhajans that can be sung on Shiva. I'll think over. Please keep rolling. I'll just think over if I can sing something or so on. So please go ahead.
Love it. Love it. So what I thought I would do today is let's look at our Yoga Sutra foundation, and then we will, Yoga Sutras, and then we'll start focusing on some of the strategies. What are the obstacles that we may run into in our Yoga Sadhana? And then, as Patanjali revealed it, there are about 9 obstacles. I think all of us can relate to it. And then he's also very kind. He talks about the obstacles and immediately says, like, hey, here's some quick tips that you can try. We could perhaps look at 3 or 4 of those techniques. Just one second. This is what it is. Yes. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So for the yoga chittavritti nirodha, yoga is about regulating and controlling our turbulent mind, is what yoga is all about. And then that's when Patanjali says, Tada drastuhu swarupe avasthanam. That's when we get reposed in our true identity, that Shiva, that infinite source within, so that all our thoughts and actions resemble or depict the divine qualities. And then how to get into that chittavritti nirodha, Patanjali reveals the 2 keys. The 2 keys are abhyasa vairagyabhyam tannirodha. Abhyasa is the regular practice, and vairagya is to be able to let go, being patient, not hankered around. In fact, when we had Sriramji at the panel discussion, the way he described himself, that he is very passionate about yoga and dispassionate about yoga. That is literally abhyasa and vairagyabhyam. Practice and dispassion are the 2 means. And I think, we've all talked about this. What we want to do now is, when we are in our yoga sadhana, all of us have been in the yoga journey for quite some time. But what Patanjali also knew is that in the first chapter itself, he says like, hey, there are some obstacles that we need to watch out. There are about 9 obstacles that we usually run into as to why we may not be able to keep up our practice very regularly, keep up our sadhana. And the 9 obstacles that he says this, the first one is vyadhi. Vyadhi is a physical ailment. The physical ailment doesn't allow us to practice. And then sthana. Sthana is apathy, or being indifferent, which is like, you don't regard it with respect. And then samsaya, which is like a doubt. You think that, does this really work? And you have a skeptical mind. And then the next one is pramada. Pramada is somebody who is somewhat careless, takes unplanned risks and is indulging in actions that are always, very risky. And people who are taking that kind of uncalculated or unfederated risks, they also don't keep up a yoga practice. Alasya is being lazy. And avirati is when we can see that, which is like, if you get used to some sensory things, if you want to exercise yourself in, more of eating or other kinds of pleasures, then it also affects your not having sensory control will also affect your process. And then Bhranti. Bhranti is hallucinations, where you are always imagining some things that are not there. And then Bhranti Darshana. And then Alabdha Bhumikatva. Alabdha Bhumikatva is, for some, because their practice is not sincere or it's not doing with the right technique, even though they come to the yoga class for 3 years, 4 years, and so many more times, but it doesn't settle in. It doesn't settle in. And when it doesn't settle in, it kind of becomes a vicious cycle. And then the last one is Anuvasta Tattvani, means is some people get quick wins. In other words, they make a little bit progress and then they feel like, hey, I already got this. I don't need to practice anymore. I already got this, right? So they celebrate premature success and they don't practice it. But the right way, what Patanjali said is, a real abhyasa is Sato Dirgha Kala Nairantara Satkara Sevito Drudabhumihi. The one that basically is like, practice over a long period of time. And yoga practice becomes your very nature, that you practice daily without interruption. And you actually approach it with a sense of puja, the prayer. And you're doing this as a great service to your body and the mind and the Ishvara within. Only when you have those 4 attributes, that's called a good practice. But, the reasons why it doesn't establish in the good practices because of these things. And if you observe very carefully, only the first one is a physical obstacle. Everything else is all in the mind. Whether you're being lazy or whether you're being indifferent, whether you are like, as a nature, you're taking, uncalculated risk and you're always, playing with danger and then imagining about wrong things, or, it doesn't settle in you because you're not paying the right, you're not following the right technique, or sometimes, you quickly say like, I'm done, and then you just give up. So these are the obstacles. And this is what is Patanjali says as antaraya. And then how do we know? How do we know that somebody is stuck in obstacles? And Patanjali comes up with some symptoms like a doctor. Dukha daurmanasya angame jayatva shwasa prashwasa vikshepa sahabuvaha. So vikshepa, somebody who's stuck in the obstacles, they are accompanied, sahabuvaha, they are accompanied by these symptoms. Number 1, dukkha. They are in suffering or unhappy moods. And then when that goes for a long time, when that sustains for a long time, then it becomes a daurmanasya, it becomes into depression. And then angame jayatva. Angame jayatva is the one, they do not have balance in their body. One, they do not have a balance in the body. And then shwasa praswasa, their breath is not regular, either shallow breath or shaken breath, and then the breath is not smooth and steady. So these are some symptoms. What Patanjali says is, somebody, we can actually go see somebody, and then depending upon how they're balanced, and you can see some people shaking, or some people who are always in the or unhappy mood, or constantly bickering and getting in depression. We know that they're stuck in one of these obstacles. Any questions, comments? Do you relate to?
It looks like a definition of anxiety
Yeah.
in the modern world, if you look at it. Look at that. Yeah. Depression, limbs trembling, disturbed inhalation, disturbed exhalation, distraction, stirring up. Yeah, all this is, like the anxiety symptoms.
And he basically says, people who are stuck in the obstacles is because they don't have a good practice of the yoga way of life. And then he says like, it's a buy one, get one combo. If you have those obstacles, this is what it results in. And then Patanjali immediately goes into is like, here are some of the quick techniques, to re-establish in your practice and to bring yourself into the chitta vritti nirodha. And this is something that Patanjali reveals in the first chapter itself, before he gets into the second chapter where he introduces Kriya Yoga and also the Ashtanga Yoga. These are some of the techniques that we can actually use as the tools in our way of life. so that we can actually get established in the practice.
You know, talking about the first chapter, Srini, I think I mentioned that I'm taking that class with Sri Ramji. He was mentioning that Patanjali goes into what to do right away to help those people that are already on the path and go boom, boom, boom and finish. He didn't say in those words, but to get to it and and then he tells these other people that cannot do this, how to do bhakti and kriya and these other, and I love that point that he made, because I'm like, that is so true. People that are already on the path and know something can go straight to these methods if they're applicable.
Exactly. I mean, the first one itself is Samadhipada. And then it goes into Nirbija Samadhi and all these different depths of Samadhi. In the first chart itself, it's like tak, 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 tak. What is yoga? Chitta vritti nirodha. There are 5 vrittis. And then this is what, and then goes into the meditation, and then goes into all the different Samadhis that you can actually get to. Right? Sabija Samadhi, Nirbija Samadhi, and this stuff. So that advanced practitioners can simply get a quick crash course and go away. And then they are on their own. And then for those people, okay, now you need more training. And then gets into all these things. So the first one is this is where Patanjali for the first time introduces the right brain concept, introduce the concept of Ishvara. And the first thing that he says is, when you are not able to establish yourself in the practice, and that's when Patanjali basically says, Tasya Vachaka Pranavaha. So introduce the concept of Pranavam, Ishvara. That Ishvara is referred to as Om. Ishvara refers to Om. And Patanjali is, because he comes from the Yoga Sutra is based on the Sankhya. So there is no real definition of gods and other stuff. The only thing that he introduced is the concept of Ishvara, and that Ishvara is also referred to as Om. And then once he says that the Om, and what Patanjali says is Tajjapa Tadartha Bhavanam, Tadartha Bhavanam, Tajjapa Tadartha Bhavanam, contemplating on that sound of Om, the meditation on Om allows you to reveal get reposed in your own self. Tadartha Bhavanam, you get unstuck from all these obstacles. The Om meditation will allow you to get unstuck from all the obstacles, so that you can actually get back into your practice. So that's one of the reasons why we always end the practice or beginning the practice with the chanting of the Om. And that Om, you can also expand it with other things like Panchaksharam or other things that you really like. And then on the Shivaratri day, you also can meditate on Om Namah Shiva-yah. And if you look at the definition of Om Namah Shiva-yah, we basically, Om is that Ishvara, and then we bow down or we salute to that Om, and that Shiva is that infinite energy. Shiva-yah is the one that is within. So Om Namah Shivaya is, we are invoking that Shiva energy within us. When you chant that Om Namah Shivaya, we are invoking and we are connecting to that infinite source within. So the Patanjali's one of the first technique is to engage in the right brain, which is to surrender to that Ishvara. And then you can refer to that Ishvara as Om or Om Namah Shivaya or whatever your favorite mantra or the chant is. Any thoughts? Umagaru, I know you do a lot of Om Namah Shivaya meditation.
That's the only one I know.
Yeah. And then what Patanjali then says is Tat Pratisedartham Yekatattva Abhyasaha. Pratishedartha, to remove all the obstacles and the mind chatter, though that the chanting of Tat Japa Tadartha Bhavanam, but chanting of the Om will allow you to establish Ekatattva Abhyasaha. The one-pointed focus will be established in your mind. And this Ekatattva Abhyasa is in the 24 tattvas, Ekatattva is considered one of the supreme tattvas. It is about that becoming one. And sometimes, we say that, right? Even when you eat the food, most of the time when we interact with people, or when we eat something, we engage in any activity, most of the time we are only engaged at a periphery level. And when we engage with the periphery, what happens is that's when we do not connect to the source, the one within, the divine within, but rather we get stuck at the labels. Oh, that person looks different, as a male, female, or belongs to a different race, belong to this and this and this stuff, because we only go look at the periphery. Same thing when we are eating the food, we only, quickly chew and then gulp it. But what Patanjali says is cultivate this habit of becoming one in every object and everything that you interact with, so that you go deep and deep, and then you finally connect to the divine source within, that Shiva source within. And then when you go deep into it in any person, you see that we are one and the same. And when you eat any food, and when we are constantly meditating on it, and you experience the food, you touch the food, then we actually then becomes like the chamakam. Vajaschame, prasavaschame, prayatischame, prasitischame. That's when we connect to the Shiva energy within, and that Shiva then energy becomes your voice, your action, your courage, and everything. So one of the first thing that Patanjali says is, that Om, or the Shiva energy, contemplate on it, and then go one with every object and every person that we try to do. We try to engage with. Cultivate the practice of oneness. And then what Patanjali then immediately realizes is, the oneness, to seeing that Ekatattva Abhyasa is something that is very difficult to cultivate with people around. Most of the time, we get into problems, or, we lose our mind's focus most of the time is when you deal with the people. So what Patanjali reveals a technique on how to deal with people around you, so that your chitta, your mind, will always stay in chitta prasadanam. You stay in the harmony, regardless of the types of the people. So he recommends 4 techniques in how to deal with people. So Patanjali categorizes people into 4 types. People who are happy, people who are unhappy or sad, people who do good things, punya, people who do bad things, or apunya. Sukha, dukkha, punya, apunya. So for each one of the category, Patanjali has a recommended approach on how you can establish that Ekatattva Abhyasa, to be able to become one with them. The first one is Maitri. People who are happy, what Patanjali says is, be friends with them. Because when somebody is happy and joyful, that means they are exhibiting the divine quality within them. They are being a representation of Ananda. So what Patanjali says is, then be friends with them. Be friends with them, so that you are actually connecting to that oneness. You are becoming one with the divine. You are exchanging that divine happiness with each other. And then people who are sad, then recognize that they are drifted away from the divine state. So they are in the ashuchi state, ashuchi and dukkha state. And what Patanjali says is, at that time, don't be friends with them. Don't be friends with them, but instead engage in a higher level of oneness, which is called karuna. Karuna is compassion. So be compassionate and try to offer help so that they can get into the happy state, but don't just go share their suffering and then says like, yo, it happened. Usually we see this in India, when somebody is suffering and people just pile on and then they also cry. And what happens is, at that time, instead of one person being away from that divine state, now we multiplied that sorrow and suffering. What Patanjali says is, at that time, employ the karuna and the compassion, and your job is to help them how to get from an unhappy state or a suffering state to a joyful state, and then become friends with them, become one with them. And then Patanjali and Sri Ramji also have a very good metaphor. And Umaji, I don't know if you listen to this metaphor. What is the right way of a compassion? The right way of compassion is not like something says like, if the kid comes to you and says like, if they eat a lot of donuts or candy, and then if they say like, I have a stomachache, we don't go back and say, it's like, didn't I tell you why did you do that? That's how it is going to be. Then it says like, that is not the right mode of compassion. The right metaphor for how to do the compassion is something like a GPS. In the GPS, if you don't take the right turn, the lady or the male voice that's in the GPS, they don't yell at you. They're still very compassionate. They still be using that sweet voice. And then they always stay focused in how to get you to the destination. Similarly, as Maitri Karuna is when we basically have to allow, like a GPS, only stay focused on how to help them so that they can get into the happy state. And then in the happy state, we can become friends. There's no point arguing when somebody is in the suffering state. Your only job is to help them to get to the better state. That's a second strategy.
The example I remember, and we just covered it in last class, was like, instead of yelling at the kid that has a good boy like you would not do that, is what you would say. And that's what something he was saying. And basically he was talking about not just to a child, but anybody that has kind of like rubbed you the wrong way or whatever, instead of, there's vitarka and pratipaksha, right? So instead of argumentative, instead of being argumentative.
Yeah, people who are doing wrong things, people who are arguing in this stuff, that's where, and again, shift your awareness to the other side, the upeksha.
So, come from a place of compassion as opposed to anger, because the one thing that he mentioned that I really liked and kind of, took that one-liner home with me was, if something makes you angry, right? Maybe most often people will say, oh, I shall not be angry at that, or I shouldn't be angry, right? Instead of focusing the anger or not being angry, replace anger with something else. Replacing is always easier than subsiding something.
Absolutely. There is a Yoga Sutra that is Patanjali's Vitarka Bhadane Pratipaksha Bhavanam. Vitarka Bhadane Pratipaksha Bhavanam.
Yep, so that's what we were talking about. I think it's a 234 maybe, something like that. Yeah,
it's in the Yamas. It actually comes in the context of ahimsa. It basically says like Patanjali reveals that as invite the opposite, the positive emotion. So instead of trying to remove darkness, bring light into the room.
And automatically dispels the other thing, right? Because replacing is easier, right? Like, replace something else with maybe a gratitude or a compassion. I love the anger versus compassion. See compassion, like, from other person's perspective and feel compassion toward them, as opposed to, being quiet or subsiding your anger, suppressing your anger.
Yeah. And I think, in the choice of words, again, replace also puts emphasis on your substituting. I think what Patanjali says and Sri Ramji says is like, let's not focus on, the negative state, but rather focus more on inviting the positive emotion experience. And then, because the moment, you're trying to remove any emotion, the mind only focuses on that. Hey,
so not the removal part, right? If you can feel compassion, this other one is getting washed away, right? In essence, one is getting replaced. I'm not saying, let me focus and replace anger with compassion is not the thought, right? Yeah. Focus on compassion, so then other one withers away.
Correct. I think Savitha Garu sometimes says this. When you have a cholesterol problem, focus on improving the good cholesterol.
Exactly.
That is within yourself.
Savitha's yoga class.
No, I have a question here. Somewhere I heard recently that compassion and loyalty has an expiry date. What do you guys think about it?
Loyalty, maybe. Compassion? No, you can feel compassion toward anybody, anything. Loyalty has expiry date if, you know, you may be loyal to a brand or a person or anything, any of those qualities, or like, you know, if it is a brand that you eat, let's say a butter brand, whatever, if it is not up to par, then I'm not going to be loyal to that anymore. But when it comes to people, it's the qualities that you're loyal to, right? Like,
yeah.
So that's my thought, Savi. Off the top of my head, that's what I'm thinking.
No, because I'm mapping towards, or like I'm thinking towards not the loyalty. Yeah, loyalty. I think if somebody is, I was able to understand regarding loyalty. If somebody is taking granted or whatever it is used for your loyalty, then I don't think you should stop at that point of time. As if somebody is producing a bad quality or bad nature constantly, I think they only need to. You don't have to be there in that environment. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I think, you know, that one.
So even compassion too, I feel if they are constantly, compassion can turn into, they might take it as, oh, feel sorry for me.
Actually, in Bhagavad Gita, there is, when we studied the Rajaguhya, the gunas, right? It also talks about the compassion, the offering the help will also comes in, you know, different things. Sometimes you also need to help when the person is ready. If the receiver is not there, then I think, you know, you cannot help it. So,
Srini, is it ready, or you do not help or have compassionate extend hand for the undeserving? Not like I wish I could remember. Not undeserving in the sense it is not the right person for that right moment to help them.
it's instead of saying the right person, it's the right time, context.
Right time, yeah, not right person. For a person that is experiencing something or whatever, compassion is not always default mode. Like even your dana, you have to do it with the right person. Exactly. That's the shloka I'm thinking about. I don't know the numbers. I'm not good with those.
Yeah. So as an example, say the gift given, not received as a gift is not a gift given.
Absolutely. Like, you know, for example, when we, you know, go in the night and then somebody is like, you know, fully drunk and this and that and in a thing, you know that they are shifted away from that, you know, suffering. But when you're trying to offer the help, you also need to figure out, you know, whether it's the right time and the place and so on and so forth. Having said that, what Patanjali basically says is, you know, ultimately it's about keeping your chitta prasadana, which is like, how do you harmonize your mind? You know, where, you know, if the other person is able to help, you know, calling a 911 and so on and so forth and get them to a happy state, and then you can actually do it. But if it's not an unsafe, if it's not a safe environment, you don't want to just go because, you know, you want to help. Then you also, you know, potentially shift away from the divine state. But at least that's one of the things. The loyalty is an interesting thing. In general, what I'm trying to do, even with the kids and so on and so forth, which is like this unconditional love. Unconditional love is there, but it does not take away the responsibility of setting them in the right path. In other words, we shouldn't endorse somebody doing bad deeds. I don't know if I'm
absolutely, right? Including our own kids, right?
Including our own kids, right? The way how we approach is like upeksha, right? Upeksha is like be indifferent, but with the compassion, try to nurture them into the positive way. But we cannot really endorse any negative thing. Then that's when, you know, we are essentially becoming that. So, but
I think those two are mutually exclusive, Srini. And in this, what I'm trying to say is, unconditional love does not preclude one from, you know, like, you know, jo bhi kare man mein aaye karo, and I will still love you, right? You can still love your child, but if they do something wrong, it is your obligation to tell them that they're doing it. Your love is to show them that what they're doing is wrong.
Yeah. Then it becomes a dharma. Like,
being in the above all comes dharma, right?
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That unconditional love, what Patanjali says is that what is ekatattva abhyasa, which is like to be able to see that one divine in every form, not just your own kids, right? That's when you
kids are the easiest as an example for unconditional love for most people, Srini. If one doesn't have children, you extend it to your friends or whatever, somewhere where you are attached, right? The unconditional love is always coming with these strings of attachment, right? If you don't have this attachment,
Yeah.
I always question myself, how much unconditional love do I have toward the world in general, right? And I fail utterly. I think the closest is my children.
Right, but that's what the ekatattva abhyasa, unconditional love, what at least Patanjali says is in the kleshas, there are the 5 kleshas. One is the avidya, the second one is asmita, where we only have unconditional love for the strings attached, like you said. I love the phrase, the strings attached, like our kids or kith and kin and so on and so forth. But what it says, like cultivate the habit of ekatattva abhyasa, to be able to see one in everybody, so that we can transcend the asmita bhavam. Then when you don't have this mind versus somebody else and nama thing, so then what happens is, then you're all becomes a pure embodiment of life. Any action that you do, you can simply represent the truth. You're not trying to maximize something for mind versus somebody else. Having said that, what I mean to say is, this unconditional love is the common substrate. That's what we all need to practice. And then when a person is in the happy, that's when you're there. When the person is sad, that's when you need to maintain the compassion. When the person is doing, punya task, that's when, take inspiration, celebrate other people's success as if your own take as an inspiration. And then when somebody is doing not so great things, shift your awareness, and again, using the compassion, try to nurture them into a good behavior. But I think the whole thing is, I think we're all saying the same thing. Don't endorse the negative deeds. Because if it becomes the negative deeds, what it actually says is, there is one of the longest sutra. What it basically says is, kruta karitana modita, whether you are the direct perpetrator of this negative action, or whether it's a reason for that, or you're an anumodita, because if you're on a witness, right, in any of the 3 roles. And then even it goes into the thing like, driven by lobha, krodha, moha, murtika, either driven by somebody you like, somebody you don't like, or because of the greed. And mrudu madhyadu matra, whether it's in a small intensity, medium intensity, or the highest intensity, the ultimate result is dukkha jnana ananta phala iti pratipaksha bhavanam. He actually puts that as a shasanam. Basically, it's like, this is what is going to, ultimately you are going to result in this. It's just a matter of time. So what he always says is, always represent this, what the divine is, truth, and walk the path of these things, whether it is our own kids or so on and so forth. But how you deal with that, it says like, deal with upeksha, deal with karuna, and all that stuff. Thoda pyar se. Thoda pyar se. But I think, what it says is like, particularly with our children, if they're, I think that's where the world is somewhat drifting apart. In fact, there used to be a beautiful Telugu movie when Nagarjuna was, Ramakanth garu, do you remember that movie? Where Akne Nageshwarao and then Nagarjuna, it came in, I think, the 70s. I think Sudigundalu, I think, if I remember correctly. Vinita garu, do you remember?
No, I'm not aware yet.
Oh, that is a national award movie. It actually, in the 70s itself, they talked about the westernization, and particularly the people from the rich, their kids, get involved in all this kind of the habits, and then they hurt other people. I think, this judge's son, Nageshwar's son, actually gets killed by these people. But everybody, because of their love for their children, they go to an extent to endorse and to support and to do this. And we see this at a grand spectacle in today's world. So what it says is, but at the same time, you also, you always are trying to get them to a good place, the divine state, and you have to do that with karuna and upeksha is what Patanjali says. And then the next two very quickly are Vishokava Jyotishmati, Vitaraga Vishayam Vachittam. These are another two strategies that Patanjali reveals after how to deal with the people, which is like always try to, the Jyotishmati, the light of awareness within, try to shift your awareness to the light of awareness within, in your meditation, and that's what we do. But oftentimes, particularly when we are drifted away, we may not be able to connect to that Jyotishmati within us. And that's when the favorite sutra from Sri Ramji is Vitaraga Vishayam Vachittam. The Vitaraga, so basically it's like those people who have transcended this Lobha, Moha, Asmita, and people who are always doing positive things in the service of others. It says like Vishayam, Vitaraga Vishayam Vachittam. Try to shift your awareness to those people. Always talk about their deeds and always think about them. So you can actually, when you pour your awareness to those types of people like Sri Ramji or Ramakanth or let's say Mandela and other people, the more we talk about the people who are doing good things, shift your awareness. And that's the reason why we tell the modern youth, watch TED Talks instead of, going and watching other kinds of movies. Watch TED Talks and, talk about, read good books. So what happens is when you pour your awareness among those people, like, today on the Shivaratri, we are celebrate the Shiva energy within us. So that's when your manas always becomes the Chitta Prasadam. It tries to take the shape of the Vishayam that you are contemplating on. So that is another one. It says like always be in the Sangha, in appreciation of the good people that you would want to emulate. Vitaraga Vishayam Vachittam. So in all these 9 techniques, Patanjali says, va. Try this. First, if you are a right-brained person, it says like, try to do Ishvara Pranidhana and do Om Namah Shiva-yah or Om Japa. And if you cannot do that, then...
Or.
Then you basically, it's like, try to cultivate the habit of oneness, to see that the divine and everything around in the people. If you cannot do that, some people are hurting you, some people are sad, then it's just like employ this technique. If that doesn't, then, go try, Vishokava Jyotishmati. If that doesn't work, then goes to Vitaraga Vishayam, go, watch a TED Talk, go listen to a Sri Ramji's talk, or, be in the association of, go attend a Satsang. Think them, use them as a candle to light up the candle within you, light up the Jyotishmati within you. And then he also talks about...
Corollary to that, Srini, is if you focus on people that you dislike or hate or anger, whatever, right? They tell you become like them, or you emulate those qualities. So
absolutely. This is like, that's what is happening in the news today. We are celebrating more
of that.
See, the society, the more, it's like how much of the news talks about good people. The thing is, news is all about somebody did this, somebody did this. So we celebrate more Ravana. So the world becomes more Ravana. So instead, we need to be showcasing more of, the world is functioning like this because there's so much good happening. There's so much good happening, right? So we need to celebrate. I think, the best part is in our satsangs, we are so blessed in the day. We are always talking about, good people, sharing good information. So we are actually creating an atmosphere. And if you observe ourselves, when you're talking about, let's say, Sri Ramji or Yoga Sutra, Patanjali or Shiva, our mind itself becomes more joyful. And so that's Vishokava Vitaraga Vishayam Vachittam. And then a couple of other strategies that he also says is Prachardana Vidarnabhyamba. And that is something that I know, Mom, Garu, you like a lot. Patanjali also talks about using Kumbhaka. Kumbhaka, which is like holding your breath after the exhale. And then the Pura Kumbhaka or Rechaku Kumbhaka. So when you hold your breath, you can also instantly bring your mind into this. And another technique that I really like is Vishayavativa Pravattirutpanna Manasani Bandhanani. Emphasize your attention on any one sense, like close your eyes and only only focus on hearing, or, go engage in go heighten the sense of smell, get an aroma or something like that, or go touch an ice if you're disturbed, go touch your eyes. What happens is you shut all the other senses, you focus your attention, you intensify the sensation of any one particular sense. Then your mind immediately gets into that one, pointed on that one thing. It comes to the center. So that's also one of the technique that Patanjali gives. So he has all these quick techniques to overcome that kind of instant remedies, where how to cultivate your people, and go watch a TED talk, or celebrate somebody like Tapasji and then his talk, and think about them. The more you think about them and their actions, you automatically take the shape you are bringing. And that's the reason why I believe all these pujas are created, where you're actually reciting Rudram, and with all the great manifestation, the great qualities of the Shiva or Vishnu. Then the more you get into the understanding and celebrating it, the more you take that shape. So this is these are some of the techniques that Patanjali revealed. So that's kind of the Patanjali quick Yoga Sutra study for today. Any thoughts, comments? Anybody wants to add anything?
It was nice for like a refreshing the whole concept again. I'm one who keeps saying klesha instead of antaraya. So this is good that
Actually, we both have a deal that someday Savitha Garu is going to lead a session, Yoga Sutra session on antaraya. And
no, there's no deal. There is no deal.
Antaraya.
You have a self deal.
But it's actually so refreshing for me too. It's been such a long time since I was looking into the Yoga Sutras thing. But this is something, the way Sri Ramji ignited a passion in me, and somehow it stayed with me. All these techniques and in a way, and I think that's what a good guru can do, to ignite the passion so that you become in love of that subject. And that's what a good teacher does.
True.
So true.
So true. So his and same thing, similarly, Sarvapriyanandaji and Tapas and all, we are blessed. We're blessed with so many things. So now that we've done that, so Savitha Garu, so at least honor this deep.
Or Ramakantji, looks like you're...
Anybody that wants to sing, I think Raghu also sings very well, the Rama Murari.
Raghu?
Raghuji?
There he is. No.
It's taking time to unmute himself. So.
I just did a quick...
wrong timing.
Are you just getting out of yoga, Raghu?
Yes. Okay, so I just thought I'll log in. I'll come back in give me 5 minutes or 3 minutes. Once. Okay,
so we're going to come up with Tridaram, Trigunakaram. That's when you can come and join us.
Sure.
Ramakantji, do you memorize the Lingashtakam, SPB style?
Yeah, so let me share something, I guess, for you guys.
Yeah.
So I know, sorry, what was that, Savithaji?
Oh.
Anything? Any comment?
No, I didn't say anything. No.
Okay. So this is in Telugu, but so I know Raghuji and Savithaji and Vinitaji. Do you understand Telugu? Or?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So this is written by Swamiji anyways. It's in Maya Malav Gaula. So I would probably have Sriniji explain us this. Pallavi is Unnadi Okade Shivudega. Shivudega. Sriniji, now the homework for you. Please go ahead and explain.
What is that?
Unnadi Okade Shivudega. Shivudega.
Yeah. Unnadi Okade. So there is nothing but this, all Shivam. This is nothing but everything is a manifestation of Shiva. Shivudega. That Shiva is all Shiva. That Shivude is both the manifest, the one that is empty and the one that is, both manifest and unmanifest is the
Manifest.
And now the Charanam goes, Nalo unnadi Shivudega, Nilo unnadi Shivudega.
That oneness.
Right? The one that is in me is Shiva. And Nilo, the one that is in you, is Shiva only. Nalo,
if you guys
Nilo.
are explaining for me, I understand Telugu. Sorry.
Oh, then why am I?
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, that's what I want.
Absolutely. Just pausing for it.
Hold on, guys. There is another person, Vinita. Vinita,
I can understand, Uma.
Vinita mana Warangal ande babu. Vinita is Warangal.
Oh,
My neighbor.
Wonderful. Okay, then we'll just swift through and then sing it very quickly. We don't need to take much time. By the time
I thought we'll switch Kannada because
if you don't understand, you can talk to me later.
No, I thought I thought Ramakanth was testing our understanding of the philosophy that Shivade is like, with Shivade is like inside, outside, manifest, unmanifest. I thought this is more of a test of
I also thought the same, like he's trying to, elaborate this. I didn't thought that he's trying to getting the true translation.
Yeah, there is a philosophy behind it too. But anyways, actually every bhajan goes the same way, right? So Nalo, Nilo, Andarilo, Unnadi Shivudega. So in me, right? I know Raghuji is here.
Yeah.
Well, I can talk.
Oh, you can understand Telugu too.
Yeah, Kolar Telugu.
Fantastic. Then we are done. Okay. Nalo kadile pranam me ningini nimpina gali kada. Okay. So Nalo nimpe pranam. Nalo kadile pranam me ningini, the sky, it filled, the air that is filled, the prana within me is filling with the air, right? In the atmosphere. Yeah. Ningina nimpina aa gale andari pranam avunu kada. Right? So the same air turns into prana for everybody. Na jataragniye talapanga velupala velugai vichche kada. Right? The jataragni turned into the velugu, the light. And velupala vichchina ee velugu andarilo jataragni kada. So how you are connecting with each aspect within ourselves to the universe. Now, Nela, Niru, Ningiyunu, Unnavi Nalo, Velupalam. All the Panchabhutas are within me. Bhutamulu, Aidunu, Shivudanaga, Ashivamu, Nalo Kaladi. Shiva we know, but Ashivamu, that which is. So, all these five, if we say Shiva, then what is not in me, which is not Shiva? So, Nalo Shivudani Analela. Right? Shiva is within me. How can you say that? Nenai unnadi Shivudukana. Shivudeka. The entire being is Shiva. It's not just Shiva is within me. Nenai Nivai Anniyunai Unnadi Shivude Shivude. Nenai Nivai Anniyunai Unnadi Shivude Shivude. Hariyu Brahmayu Shivudega. A Shrimata Kuda Shivudega. A Shrimatayu Shivudega. Bhutamu Bhaviyu Shivudega. Kala Atitudu Shivudega. Satpada Vedyudu Shivudega. Chitpada Gamyudu Shivudega. Sachidanandudu Shivudega. Shivude.
Beautiful. Now you need to put a tune to it.
Yes, so we'll listen to the song. Unnadi okade Shivudega. Shivude. Shivudega. Nalo unnadi Shivudega. Nilo unnadi Shivudega. Nalo nilo andarilo unnadi Shivudega. Unnadi okade Shivudega. Shivudega. Nalo kadile pranam me ningina nimpina gali kada. నింగిన నింపిన ఆగాలే అందరి ప్రాణం మౌను కదా ఉన్నది ఒకడే శివుడేగా శివుడే శివుడే శివుడేగా నా జఠరాగ్నియే తలపంగా వెలుపై వెలుగై విచ్చెగదా వెలుపల విచ్చిన ఈ వెలుగే అందరిలో జఠరాగ్ని కదా ఉన్నది ఒకడే శివుడేగా శివుడే శివుడే శివుడేగా. I won't take much time.
Beautiful. You have an amazing voice.
Yeah, beautiful. Even the meaning is like so nice.
Oh, so simple and beautiful. Love it.
So wonderful. And especially here, Hariyunu Brahmayu. Hariyunu Brahmayu Shivudega. Ashrimatayu Shivudega. Bhutamu Bhaviyu Shivudega. Kalatitudu Shivudega. ఉన్నది ఒకడే శివుడేగా శివుడే శివుడే శివుడేగా. Wonderful. Let me just one liner. I would like to say this.
ఇది కూడా
I think please.
The same thing like భూతు అదేంటండి భూతుడు
భూతము భావి శివుడే
భూతము భవ్య the same thing ఇప్పుడు విష్ణు సహస్రనామంలో భూత భవ్య భవన్నాథ
భూత భవ్య భవత్ ప్రభు భూత
భవత్ ప్రభు భూత భవ్య భవత్ ప్రభు
present and future, right? That's what we mean.
Exactly.
Now and future, and kalatita means neither future nor past, right? It is beyond time and space.
And this line is so like ashivamu nalo kaladidi. I mean, I am like so nela neeru ningiyunu ఉన్నవి నాలో వెలుపలను భూతములు ఐదును శివుడు అనగా అశివము నాలో కలది. We are only made of 5, no? So whatever it is, extra, less, minus, everything.
There's nothing else but that.
మన ఆదిత్య హృదయంలో కూడా దాంట్లో ఉంటుంది రామ రామ మహాభావం తర్వాత దాని ఆదిత్య హృదయం పుణ్యం అండ్ దెన్ చివర్లో జయావహం జపే నిత్యం అక్షయం పరమం శివం. The one that is all left behind is also Shiva. Akshayam Paramam Shiva.
I simply sang this, instead I am going back and forth because this was even more fantastic for me. Nalo Shivudani analela nenai unnadi Shivudega nenai neevai anniyunai unnadi Shivude శివుడేగా ఉన్నది ఒకడే శివుడేగా శివుడే శివుడే శివుడేగా. So until 2000, Swamiji was always doing this called Agni Puja only on Shivaratri. I don't know what the Agni Puja means. Basically, it's a puja of the fire, and not sure what the link is. He only does it on the Shivaratri days. So every Shivaratri until 2000 used to do it every yearly once, goes into the fire into the fire. Instead of putting the samidha into the fires that we do the homa, he becomes the samidha and goes into the fire. And of course, all the garlands, all these flowers too surrounding, nothing becomes dried. It just remains fresh like. So just a minute we will listen. It's a 4-minute bhajan, but I would just like you to just watch it, and we'll just pause it just for our sake. I don't know. I don't think I shared the sound. So
it says unnadi okkade shivudega shivude
shivudega. Same bhajan.
Yeah, I can read.
The same bhajan. They are.
ఉమాగారు చూస్తున్నాం అద్భుతం ఆశ్చర్యం సంభ్రమాశ్చర్యం మాటలే కాదు
ఆశ్చర్యం నాకు కూడా అవుతుంది.
మాటలే కాదు చదువు కూడా వచ్చేసింది.
సంగత్యం.
So we'll listen to this 1 minute and then we'll.
That's because of Savitha, just so you don't get excited.
So I'll pause it right there, and would not like to hijack this.
No, the thing is, it's a beautiful
Swamiji
song.
looks very young in this. It should be a
Yes,
while ago.
Yeah, like I said, until 2000. So basically, until last 22 years, he's not been doing this.
No, he does
And
it inside the Agni Kunda.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a big, yeah.
So he's
we
setting
also
a
have a DVD.
self fire.
Yeah,
right?
all the four directions. Actually, when he's inside, all the four directions, it's all completely fire. And after the puja is done, on the four corners, actually, then the ash also forms there. He puts the same, his hand into it, and generally removes stuff. Actually, this video goes, there is a DVD called Agni Puja. And so sometimes it is the Sri Yantra, some lingam and all that. And right away after coming out, this is very short 4-minute one, but there's a longer one. So he steps out and then puts them into turmeric and all that. And then he also talks about the coming year, how it's going to be and all the prophecy kind of thing, whatever be. So he talks about it. In fact, I had a chance to look at those and do some abhisheka to them and all that. It was very interesting.
Nice.
With that, I will stop there.
Awesome. One of my other favorite songs about Shiva is from Manjunatha, Shankar Mahadevan's. It's Mahaprana Deepam. That one is, can anyone sing that?
We just had that in the Sarigamapa competition yesterday. Mahaprana Deepam Shivoham Shivoham. Yeah, my problem is all the lyrics. I'll have to pull up the lyrics.
Yeah, and then now let's all sing Brahma Murari. Let's recollect from our memory or look at that.
Brahma Murari, we can do it right away. I have the lyrics open because you mentioned about it.
And Savitha Garu, you can actually pull up Telugu lyrics or Kannada lyrics, whatever you're comfortable.
Kannada.
Because I think, Uma was giving credit for all the, but Uma Garu, there's a sincere doubt. Were you reading it like Telugu or Kannada?
Both are same, Amma.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I mean, thank you for clarifying it. Both are same, Amma. That's it. So I think, approach everything like Kannada. I think you seem to be doing very well.
Yeah.
But I was very impressed, actually.
Thanks to Savitha.
I know. That's a.
And Raghu.
In Telugu, in Telugu, how you say Mavalle? So Uma Nammoru.
I started even calling Uma, which is like, her identity is now became one with Raghu and Savitha. maybe we should call her Kannada Gitti also. Sorry.
She's a global Indian Gitti.
Yeah, she's a child of the universe. Uma.
నేను అనుకున్న మంచి ఆంధ్ర గిత్తి అన్నాం అనుకున్నా or హైదరాబాద్ గిత్తి.
ఇది ప్రాంత ప్రపంచమే కదా.
She's a Gitti right now.
But is there a reason is Uma అని కూడా మంచి పేరు పెట్టారు మీకు, for all the love that you have for Shiva? Is that
I think I don't know. They say, right, everybody's name is predestined. That's how it is. I think I was supposed to be in love with Shiva, and that's why my parents picked that name.
అచ్చా, లేకుంటే పేరు మార్చుకున్నారా ఏమన్నా?
నేను చేసుకోలేదండి.
Okay, let's everybody sing this together. We don't need if we want, we can actually play in thing with Balasubramaniam, or we can also invoke Balasubramaniam and Shiva within us. Om Namah Shiva-yah. And I love the description of Om Namah Shiva-yah. When the way the Sanskrit is designed is always like to invoke within, not externalize the God, but always internalize the divine. Namaha Shiva-yah, within, which is fantastic. It is a beautiful Sanskritam. Nama namna vivedaha, which is like both the name and named are one and the same.
The first song that pulls up is that SPB.
If you can, I don't know if there's a karaoke side for this Brahma Murari.
Actually, look for karaoke for Brahma Murari. I think let's see if we can do that. YouTube.
Okay. Yeah, I was planning to play it in the background and put the lyrics on top.
Lyrics, I think, we also have, lyrics in our own phones, right? We don't need to see it here. And I hope I still remember it.
Oh, we can't hear you, Raghu.
Oh.
So you have to share your sound. You have to share the computer sound.
Yeah, I did. No, sorry. Okay. Start from the beginning.
ब्रह्ममुरारिसुरार्चितलिङ्गं निर्मलभासितशोभितलिङ्गम् जन्मजदुःखविनाशकलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गम् देवमुनिप्रवरार्चितलिङ्गं कामदहन करुणाकरलिङ्गम् रावणदर्पविनाशकलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गम् सर्वसुगन्धसुलेपितलिङ्गं बुद्धिविवर्धनकारणलिङ्गं सिद्धसुरासुरवन्दितलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गं कनकमहामणिभूषितलिङ्गं मणिपतिवेष्टितशोभितलिङ्गम् दक्षसुयज्ञविनाशनलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गम् कुङ्कुमचन्दनलेपितलिङ्गं पङ्कजहार सुशोभितलिङ्गम् सञ्चितपापविनाशनलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गम् देवगणार्चितसेवितलिङ्गं भावैर्भक्तिभिरेव च लिङ्गं दिनकरकोटिप्रभाकरलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गम् अष्टदलोपरिवेष्टितलिङ्गं सर्वसमुद्भवकारणलिङ्गम् अष्टदरिद्र्यविनाशनलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गम् सुरगुरुसुरवरपूजितलिङ्गं सुरवनपुष्प सदार्चितलिङ्गम् परमपदं परमात्मकलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गम् लिङ्गाष्टकमिदं पुण्यं यः पठेच्छिवसन्निधौ शिवलोकमवाप्नोति शिवेन सह मोदते.
What a beautiful thing.
Looking for new songs? YouTube Music is your personal.
Yeah, I think when Savitha ji you started singing, there was a lag. That's why it kind of got into a off cycle.
No, I started with high pitch, and then I remember, oh, I can't go with his one, his high pitch, so I came down to the low pitch.
No, also there was a little bit of, I think, a word or two delay between, because you were hearing on your end, right? And then it was coming back.
Yes.
Yeah.
But what a melodious voice for Balasubramaniam. This is like so etched in our memories. And then he goes into, after Tridalam, Trigunakaram, Trinetrancha, Triyayudam, Trijanma Papa Samharam. It's like Kashi Kshetra Nivasancha, Kala Vairava Darshanam, Prayage Madhavam Drishtva, Ekabilvam Shivarpanam. So we become like, listen to that song every day in the morning. It's almost like, it becomes imitation. Right? So, what an infinite being, the Shiva of that. And then
I love the Shiva Manasa Puja from Yogi Hari. So beautiful. Oh my God. I cannot get over it. I listen to it all the time. I've listened to other versions, but his version somehow just went right to my heart, the way he sings.
I think, he's waiting for you also. You should actually go express that. No, I mean it in a very sincere way. It's like even though he achieved some kind of a pinnacle in his yoga practice with asanas and all the thing, right? He would be in the headstand for 45 minutes and do all postures there. But somehow he experienced the taste of Nada Yoga and he started everything else. And from the Mysore Nada Brahma Guruji, he chased him and then he studied with him for 9 years. And he wanted. I think
he's Guru na minchina Shishu antar chudandi. I think he's like that.
But he wanted that 108 ragas, and he used to tell me the story how he got the first 20 ragas and the first 20 ragas. And it's almost like different people used to come to his door to give the ragas or something like that. He used to see. Even Nada Brahma also, apparently the Mysore Nada Brahma Guruji, he never wanted to come to United States. He never wanted to cross the sea. And then somehow it just so happened that Shivananda, they were creating a big convention in Bahamas. He came to Bahamas, and then from there he came to New York. And then this guy got an opportunity to study with him. It's a miracle. I think his passion for music is just amazing. But he also is very stickler. But the good thing is he does a very good sadhana. And he plays tabla and this and a lot of those things. So cool. It's fantastic. And any other songs anybody would want to share? Or any Shiva stories?
Shiva stories. Any festival that comes with food.
But I think this is the only one festival that doesn't
Well,
have.
you actually fast, right, Amma?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. In my house, they used to make idli and paisam. I don't know. Weird combination.
I see. Only rice is not allowed, but every other flavor is allowed. Every other variation. I see. Me and my brother today we were discussing at 4. We all used to fast, but I think even today I was trying to do fast, but I ate only fruits. And I was talking to my brother, and we were remembering our dad. Our dad was, the one thing that I remember of Shivaratri is sweet potato and yams. That used to be the thing. Everybody would load upon yams and this and that, and we would eat all of those things. But my dad, you always need the rice. The every day, the full thing. By 3 or 4 o'clock, he would be down and he would be sleeping on the bed, totally down. And my mom would be like, dude, what do you need? Should I make some upma? Should I make this, the stuff? The whole night used to be like serving my dad. And but we enjoyed the yams and all that kind of stuff.
My favorite food, Srini. One of my favorite food. If you give me yam 3 meals a day, I will eat them. I bake them, and that's what I do.
I see. I'm actually. Do you eat yams or do you eat sweet potatoes?
Yams, because they're like the Indian kind, the pink skin and white inside. That's what I like.
Right. They're more sweetish also. I mean, they taste very good, even the texture, right? But somebody told me that sweet potatoes are more nutritious or something.
Well, because of the orange color, they have beta carotene in them. But yams are darn good for pound per pound. They have a ton of fiber, so it's good stuff.
And you have to bake them. If you do microwave,
I bake them. I bake them in the oven, and I actually almost caramelize one side of it, so they're really good.
Oh wow!
Honey caramelized, yeah. With honey.
Honey ledu, Savi, just because of that over baking on one side, it becomes almost like it makes sugars inside.
Add a little bit of honey, it just adds so much flavor to it.
Itna meeta hai, Savi, in between
cinnamon and nutmeg.
Yeah.
In cinnamon and nutmeg. Oh, amazing combination.
Don't talk about food because we're supposed to fast now.
I think we should actually, Savitha Garu, we should actually, we all need to follow your family practices. I think we seem to celebrate quite well. All the festival with all food.
When it comes to food, yes, we do.
That's a good one. Idli, this one. But this one is
I don't know. I always had, we had idli and paisam was the recipe of the day for Shivaratri. Yeah, and my dad would
go ahead and play this song for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ready with it. So, yeah, keep talking.
No.
Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Om
The lyrics are in the description.
Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya.
रत्नैः कल्पितमासनं हिमजलेहि स्नानं च दिव्याम्बरं नानारत्नविभूषितं मृगमदा मोदन्तितं चन्दनं जाती चम्पकबिल्वपत्ररचितं
पुष्पं च
धूपं तथा दीपं देवदयानिधे पशुपते हृत्कल्पितं गृह्यताम् ॐ नमः शिवाय, ॐ नमः शिवाय, ॐ नमः शिवाय, ॐ नमः शिवाय.
Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya,
Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya,
Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya.
सौवर्णे नवरत्नखण्डरचिते पात्रे घृतं पायसं भक्ष्यं पञ्चविधं पयोदधियुतं ब्रह्माफलं पानकं शाकानामयुतं जलं रुचिकरम् कर्पूरखण्डोजलं ताम्बूलं मनसा मया विरचितं भक्त्या प्रभो स्वीकुरु ॐ नमः शिवाय, ॐ नमः शिवाय, ॐ नमः शिवाय, ॐ नमः शिवाय,
Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya,
Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya,
Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya,
Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya,
Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya,
Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya,
Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya.
Satram chamarayo yugam yajanakam cha adarshakam nirmalam Rudangakahalakala Geetam charutyam tatha Shastangam pranatihi stutir bahuvidaha Chetat samastam maya Sankalpena samarpitam tava vibho Pujam duhana prabho
Om Namah Shivaya,
Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya,
Om Namah Shivaya, Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya.
Atmatvam Girijahmati Sahacharaha Prana Shariram Bruham Jate Vishayopadhogarachana Nidra Samadhisthitahi Sanchara Padayo Pradakshina Videhi Shotrani Sarvagiro Yad Yad Karam Karomi Tat Tadhakilam Shambhotavaradhanam. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya,
Om Namah Shivaya,
Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya.
Kar Charana Kritam Va Kayajam Karmajam Va Davananayanajam Va Manasam Va Parabham Vihitam Vihitam Va Sarvame Takshamasva Jaya Jaya Karnabhe Shri Mahadeva Shambho Shri Mahadeva Shambho Shri Mahadeva Shambho. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya.
Wow. Very nice.
It's almost like everything is there, the whole summary, all my words, actions, deeds.
You don't need to pull your phone out and film your.
Yes.
Okay, so let's, how about we do this as we close up, I will want us, each one of us to go around and sing either one verse or say one nice reflection about Shiva, or you can also sing a song. So let's actually, each one of us will do it and then we'll wrap up. Raghuji, you want to start? Anything of your favorite, Shiva Slokam or Shiva song or Shiva's reflection.
Yeah, I'll just close with the
And I think, for this, I think Umagaru, you can perhaps open up your window, perhaps.
Okay.
Sivudega, the one that, with the video on, with the video off, all Shiva. Shiva is there everywhere. And Guru Garu, Ramakanth Garu and Savitha Garu, we can also do it so that we can maybe capture this on the video. Okay, Raghu,
Sir, give me 1 second. I'm pulling up a lyric to see.
Slokascha, Shravascha, Shrutischa. Shrutischa me, Slokascha me, Swarascha me. Okay. Nice. That Shiva is in a red dress.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up a song. Nada Tanum Anisham Shankaram.
Looks very complicated, but you seem to be at ease. Okay, chalo, continue.
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm trying to see how to share.
Sharing kyun hai? Just no, you sing it. We'll all listen. It's your individual performance.
Yeah, I need to fix it. Oh, if I share, I can't see the rest of you all.
No, I think whatever you feel comfortable, you can do it. If you remember it, you can sing it. Whatever you are comfortable, do it.
Tanumanisham Shankaram Nada Tanumanisham Shankaram Nada Tanumanisham Shankaram Namami me Manasa Shirasa Nada Tanumanisham Mudakaram Nigamutama Sama Mudakaram Nigamutama Sama Saram Varam Saram Varam Varam Karam Tanumanisham Shankaram Namami me Manasa Shirasa Nada Tanumanisham Sadyo Jata Dipanchavakraja Sadyo Jata Dipanchavakraja Sarigama Padani Varasapta Swara Sarigama Padani Varasapta Vidyalokam Vidalita Kalam Vidyalokam Vidalita Talam Vimala Hrudaya Thyagaraja Kirtana Vimala Hrudaya Thyagaraja Tanumanisham Nada Tanumanisham Shankaram Nada Tanumanisham 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 Tanumanisham.
Wow. This is a Vishwarupam. There's another darshan of Carnatic Raghu.
Almost
I think it runs in your blood, guys, this thing about being able to sing.
It runs in whose blood?
People that speak Kannada.
Why? అక్కడ త్యాగరాజ మన తెలుగు అతను కూర్చొని కీర్తన అంతా చేస్తే వీళ్ళు కన్నడ గురించి చెప్తారు.
Dragged by your nose and made to I did about 8 years and totally forgot everything.
I think సావాస ఎఫెక్ట్ బానే ఉందండి బాబు. యాక్చువల్లీ బానే ఉంది. సావాస దోషం అంటే ఇదే అన్నమాట, లీలా. But actually,
like 35 years. I have not sung this song. It's just impromptu.
Wow.
Really the best impromptu. This Kirtana, I never heard it. But other inquiry for me is, again, it shows my ignorance. First time in a Thyagaraja Shankaran Ventunanemo. Thyagaraja Kirtana.
No, there's a lot.
Not me, నాకు తెలిసి మేబీ అంటే నాకు గుర్తుకు రావట్లేదేమో కానీ అది ఎంత ఈ కీర్తన అయితే ఫస్ట్ టైం విన్నా. This one
But this one,
even I have not heard this one.
Yeah, after I got a Bijakshara on my tongue by Swamiji in Tumkur, right? My grandma took me there. This is the first song that he made me sing. So the Bijakshara is, they do a Om on the tongue. Right, so that was something my grandma believed, and she took me to that Swamiji, and she did that when I was probably 12, 13 years old.
You became Kaviratna Kalidasa there.
Yeah, I've formally done some practice in classical and
actually, again, let me probe a little bit on my ignorance. But Thyagaraja, isn't this like, so much about Rama? Is this like, always like, Ramani, it's like, always used to use like Marugelara or Raghava type low. It's just like, I think somebody was like so fed up of his Rama, they used to hide his idols or all these stories that I used to hear. Thyagaraja.
His Parama Daiva, what's that?
Ishtadaiva, Paramadaiva, all the thing.
Ishtadaiva was Rama. Right? But he has sung others also.
But this one is like first time actually. I need to do a little bit more research on it.
You see the Ankita, Thyagaraja. Yeah. So
Okay, Savitha garu, your turn. Shloka.
No, Uma goes first after that. Uma, you go.
How did you decide that?
Oh,
me and you are same, so you go first.
Oh, okay.
Actually, that's what I meant. Actually, that's also what I meant. When I say Savitha, that's what I meant. The red dress, red Savitha.
Remember, Savitha, we said that we're not going to answer for each other.
No, I know. I'm requesting you. Can you please go first?
Oh my goodness, I don't know anything to sing that to Shiva.
Come on.
I can. Yes, the first song that I ever heard of Shiva's, which I think I don't even know the lyrics for it. I wasn't prepared. Let me look up. Savi, do you know the lyrics for Mahesha Papa Vinasha?
I know only the lyrics for.
Okay, you were asked to sing any, right? Even 2 lines is good enough.
Yeah, just 2 lines. Yeah.
Isha Vasa Maha Papa Vinasha. Chalo go.
All right. Mahesha Papa Vinasha Kailasavasa Isha Ninnu Namminanu Rava Nilakantara Deva Mahesha Papa Vinasha Kailasavasa Isha Ninnu Namminanu Rava Nilakantara Deva Papa Punyamedo Yeruganaitine Deva. I don't really know the lyrics.
No, Savitha garu, red Savitha garu or Uma garu, whatever the name that you choose, that's I'm fine. But please continue. Find the lyrics, because this is the first time I'm actually listening your song in the full melody. What a beautiful voice that you have. And then the Bhavam also. No, the Bhavam also, it just comes across.
Right.
I learned the words before I knew what they meant. I loved that song as a kid.
No, but it's
I don't really know the lyrics, Srini. Honestly, I don't know.
No,
Then
Enduariana Mala Kannada వచ్చేసింది అక్కడ.
I only know Kannada
version, right? So she's dubbing out.
We should do Jugalbandi once, Savi. 2 lines Kannada, 2 lines Telugu.
No, but this one is a very famous song. I'm sure you'll find the lyrics, but you must sing this today. I think the entire song in your voice.
I don't really know, Srini. I was a horror for like Antakshari. I knew a lot of 2 lines, not more than 2 or 3 lines. So it was hard to play with me.
but Google should know it, right? Mahesha Papa Vinasha.
ಭಕ್ತಿಯಂತೆ ಪೂಜೆಯಂತೆ ಒಂದು ಅರಿಯನ ಭಕ್ತಿಯಂತೆ ಪೂಜೆಯಂತೆ ಒಂದು ಅರಿಯನ ಪಾಪವಂತೆ ಪುಣ್ಯವಂತೆ ಕಾಣಿನ ಹರಿನ ಶಿವನೇ ಶಿವಪ್ಪ ಕಾಯೋ ತಂದೆ ಭೂಲೋಕ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ದೇವ. See, ours comes is different. ಹಸಿವೆಯನ್ನು ತಾಳಲಾರೆ ಕಾಪಾಡೆಯ ಶಿವನೇ. This lyrics also is bad one.
No, the kapadaya is a Telugu word or Kannada word, but it's like the same thing, right?
Even Telugu one is saying the same thing. I found the lyric. It says Bhakti.
Literally the meaning is the same.
Yeah, but I only small piece is little bit different. That's all. I don't know why.
I think I sang wrong. Is what I'm thinking. Which
No, you didn't.
No, it was a Ghantasala song, right? It's a Ghantasala, right?
In both, it's him.
Oh, really? Even Kannada also?
Yeah, Kannada also.
Vedara Kannappa.
Vedara Kannappa.
Dr. Rajkumar, famous.
Kailasa Vasa Isha. Chalo.
Namina Anurava Nilakantara Deva Mahesha Papa Vinasha Kailasa Ninnu Namina Anurava Bhakti Edo Puja Ledo Levo Teliyanaitine. I'm trying to read.
Found the lyrics. You want to see the lyrics?
No,
I'm also seeing.
But please.
I'm also looking, Savi, but if Telugu mein hai, utna padhna nahi aata mujhe tap tap.
I can only see. ಶುದ್ಧನಾಗಿ ಪೂಜೆಗೈವೆ ಒಲಿಯುವಂತೆ ನೀ ಶುದ್ಧವೋ ಅಶುದ್ಧವೋ ನಾನು ಕಾಣೆನೆ ದೇವಾ ಶಿವಪ್ಪ ಕಾಯೋ ತಂದೆ ಭೂಲೋಕ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ದೇವ ಹಸಿವೆಯನ್ನು ತಾಳಲಾರೆ ಕಾಪಾಡೆಯ ಏಕಚಿತ್ತದಿಂದ ನಂಬಿದವರ ನೀಸಾ I don't know the lyrics for I mean the tune for that. ಏಕಚಿತ್ತದಿಂದ ನಂಬಿದವರ ನೀಸಾ I don't know.
I see.
Which one is this?
Mantrayukta pujaseya manasu karguna. Something like that, right?
Yeah.
Mantrayukta pujaseya manasu karguna.
Mantramedo yeruganaitine. Mantramedo tantramedo yeruganaitine. Nadamedo Vedamedo. Do you have that one too? Nadam Vedam?
Vadameva Vedamada Tiparavaya Swami. Vadamela Vedavada Tiparavaya Swami. Asalki, the two lines that you sing, almost like, you have this Susila, Telugu nightingale in your voice.
Srini, ettakandi kinda padtam ore speed toti.
No, you have a really sweet voice.
No, you have a sweet voice, and then I think Savitha has a little bit of a Janaki tinge. Because she has a little bit of Janaki Garu, and then you have a Susilamma Garu.
I can sing another two lines, which my mom is convinced that I love Hindi because of that song. Apparently, she was carrying me. My dad was teaching in Ranchi, and this is the only song that came on that thing, which is Jyot pe Jyot jagate chalo. Savi, do you know this? If you do, please sing with me.
Jyot pe Jyot chalo. No, I don't know.
Jagate chalo.
पे जोत जगा
के चलो.
प्रेम
That's the one.
Okay.
I don't know all the lyrics for that one also.
No, but the
जोत
two
पे
lines.
जोत जगा के चलो, प्रेम की गंगा बहाते चलो, प्रेम की गंगा बहाते चलो. That's one.
Ari?
I'll link
Very
you
nice.
guys.
Okay. Next, it's like, you're going to be part of every satsang. There is a Uma slot. Singing.
No. Don't do that to me, Srini. This is a small group. I'm comfortable with you guys, so I sang. Don't put me on the spot.
What you're going to do is only 6 screens will be there. Everybody else will be asked to shut off their video screens, and then so that way.
No.
Right?
It was very nice, Uma. It was very nice.
No. Actually, manchi voice undandi, manchi gatram undi. And again, the Jenny is stuck in the bottle. Then the Shiva is saying, like, why did I give that voice to Uma? I should have given this to Srini.
No, I do sing, and my children tell me, can you please stop, Mama?
You're not singing with the right satsang.
And Shiva is like, Janjat. Srini wants to sing more, but he doesn't have the voice. The voice he put it in wrong place.
Yeah, I have the lyrics now.
Okay.
Telugu one.
Oh, Hindi one.
Oh yeah, the last one.
Huh?
Okay, chalo, Savitha, what are you singing?
I don't know. I really like what's the name? Kuldeep from Kerala.
That Vande Guru Parampara.
Vande Guru Parampara. Yeah, I like this one. This Panchakshari Stotram.
Adava?
Nagendra Haraya.
Oh, Nagendra Hara. Okay.
Go ahead.
I like the tune. I only know, I think, 2 or 3 lines, so bear with me. Nagendra Haraya Trilochanaya Bhasmangaragaya Maheshwaraya Nagendra Haraya Trilochanaya Bhasmangaragaya Maheshwaraya Nityaya Shuddhaya Digambaraya Tasmai Nakaraya Namah Shivaya Nityaya Shuddhaya Digambaraya Tasmai Nakaraya Namah Shivaya 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 Mandakini Salila Chandana Chachitaya Nandishwara Pramathanata Maheshwaraya Mandakini Salila Chandana Chachitaya Nandishwara Pramathanata Maheshwaraya Mandara Pushpa Bahupushpa Supujitaya Tasmai Makaraya Namah Shivaya Mandara Pushpa Bahupushpa Supujitaya Tasmai Makaraya Namah Shivaya 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 Namah Shivaya. There's more, but I don't know the. Thank you.
Love it, Janakamma garu.
No, but their tune is very nice compared to all the ones I have heard.
That's awesome, awesome. And then
the whole song has Om Namah Shivaya. The way it has come, it comes. It has Om Namah Shivaya in the each center. Makaraya, Shikaraya,
Namah Shiva.
Makaraya, yeah. Yeah, very nice.
Then they have that repeat Om Namah Shivaya. Even Lingashtakam, I told you earlier that I don't know, right? I'm looking at it and I do know bits and pieces. Definitely the fourth line of every one of them.
Lingashtakam usually everybody knows. And I mean, somewhere subconsciously it has played in your lifetime for sure.
Like I said, that fourth line, fourth charana of every one of them I know.
That's how you learn, right? You start with the fourth and then go up the ladder.
Up the ladder, yeah. You're always very positive, Raghuji. I can bend forward. Thoda thoda karke aa jayega. That's what he says.
We have a saying in Kannada, Harta Harta Roga.
Exactly.
That means keep singing, you will start singing in a tune. And when you keep suffering, you'll end up with some disease. If you keep saying, I'm suffering, I'm suffering.
That is so true, though. If you mentally suffer it, you will end up getting a disease.
Yeah.
Nice saying.
Okay, Ramakanth garu.
So I was mainly impressed on this because first I was pondering on one of these Art of Living bhajan which says Sundaranana, Sundaranana. So I was like, Shiva, I was always thinking, Sundara, okay, inner beauty and all that, but Sundara, I thought it was Krishna or Rama and all that, but I never knew that Shiva was
Shiva is beautiful.
Of the Sundara concept, yes. Satyam. We also have the Satyam Shivam Sundaram.
Sundaram.
Oh, Satyam Shivam Sundaram song. My God. Can you sing that?
That is one other one. And the other one was again Swamiji's bhajan as Sundara Sundara Shiva Shiva. So I'm not sure if anyone wants to explain it. I never explored more. I know Sundara maybe, but anybody know about why this Shiva is called Sundara?
Oh, no, I thought when he hands, when he is doing, sorry, go ahead, Raghu.
No. I said he's Adi Yogi is the perfection in all aspects, right? That's why it's just that he's ash colored, but that doesn't diminish his beauty in any way. Right?
No, ash is
color thing is a modern concept, right? So right?
No. So if you see Rama, Krishna, they are all ash colored.
Yeah.
Because it's actually ash means not actually ash. Actually, it represents ether, like the blue or bluish kind of stuff. It kind of represents that infinite embodiment, right? And even so it's just like the color was explicitly chosen to give them like that they are like infinite, the ether kind of a thing.
I thought it was just another name for Shiva because somebody's name is Sundar Raj or Sundar. It's like doesn't mean that they are beautiful. I mean, but I thought it was the name of Shiva, so that's what they call Shiva. Sundar.
Basically, what I basically is like the way Shiva has this entire range. He can be in the what is this? What do you call it? But anyway, from the Smashanam to like when he's in the Kailasam, the way he's like, when he's doing the Lasyam, the Natyam, just like at that time, the thing is that perfect symmetry also, the Havam, Bhavam, everything. It's just like the Nataraja thing is like, there is nothing more beautiful than the Nataraja. So there was this beautiful thing. Umagaru, mi pellapudu. Parvati Kalyanam. Mi pellapudu. What happened is apparently Umaji's, Parvati's wife, they were not sure about their damaj, right? Their damaj, what kind of a guy. And then, there are all these gods come to that marriage and all this stuff. And they were not really sure. One day she goes and sees it. And then this guy is like, like in the Smashanam types, he was like in that, wearing all kinds of stuff. And she gets like, for my beautiful daughter Uma, is this the kind of a son-in-law that I got? right? And she was like, making all kinds of noise. And then they basically is like, then they basically tell him, it's like, don't worry. And then, they basically go and ask Shiva to, is like, go show this other thing. And she goes and sees like, the beautiful Sundara, Nataraja and all that stuff, right? So the thing is, here is a story that I've heard, the Ardhanarishwara story, which is like, because Shiva has this so many different dimensions. And then he can also, when he gets into the meditative state, which is like, super still, he generates so much intensity in that meditative state. And at the same time, when he goes into the other extreme, he's like dancing like the Nataraja. And then he is like sometimes in the Smashanam and all the way to the Kailasam and all that stuff. So Uma gets jealous apparently. And he basically says like, I want to be one with you. I want to experience everything the way that you do, every moment. The entire spectrum. I don't want it. So then he doesn't know how to do it. Then he says like, okay, become part of me. So that's when he gives her half the space so that she gets to experience every emotion the way he experiences it. So that's apparently the real oneness that we need to get. Somebody who want to experience every dimension of you the way it is. So that's the only way. He just says like, become part of me. So that is the Sundara. Now, Ramakanth garu, meer padandi.
We'll sing a few lines of each of those bhajans.
Sorry, you didn't tell why he is called Sundara, first of all.
For me,
no, but I thought that
because
my
he's got Parvati, he is Sundara. Savi, adem question. Because he has Parvati, Sundara.
No, we got all versions, right? Like the very fact that Ramakanji asked that question. So I thought he has his
No,
version.
I did not ponder. I mean, I don't have the answer too. I was only awestruck at the whole concept, and even till today, like he says, right? Shishiji says, question mark, when the bend in the question mark becomes straight, then it turns into an exclamation.
An exclamation, yeah.
So there are two ways to approach life. There is one is really probing, like our Patanjali Yoga Sutras, really scientifically going one side. The other is looking at the amazement and this staying there still. I mean, you don't need to think about it. There is no answer needed, but you're still awestruck with that. So I think till today, my story is the same.
That's the part I like. I don't want to delve into it. The beauty and the charm is gone. I'm happy with being, oh, wow. And dumbfounded, no problem.
And not only that, I think Savitha ji forwarded us that joke where that gentleman, he was explaining the MahaShivarathri, whatever the Guruji from Tamil Nadu, right? He was talking about beauty and, the moment you make logical meaning of a poetry, how the whole thing goes off.
You're ruined.
So with that,
just one quick clarification. If you see here, right, Bhasma Bhushita Sundaranand, right? In fact, Shiva is pure white. He is neither blue nor purple, right? He smears ash on him. That's why he has the color of ash. If you look at Shankaracharya's Karpura Gauram, Karunavataram, right? There it clearly explains the background of what's the color of Shiva and what's the details of the Vardhana or how they describe Shiva, right? So in that they call out that he is personification just with having the ash on him. So
maybe that is why they say it's white chandana. For Shiva, they don't use the regular chandana.
Yeah.
There's something called white chandana you get.
Vibhuti, right? Vibhuti is the white chandana. Sorry, Ramakanji. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So that's the whole point. I mean, these bhajans or whatever, the tattva, and we need to really talk more deeper to understand and enjoy the fun with that. Sundaranana, 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 Hara Shiva Shiva Hara Sundaranana Bhasma Bhushita Sundaranana Kala Netra Madana Mohana Sundaranana 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 Hara Sundaranana Bhu
Bhutanatha Deva Deva Sundaranana
I think
Hara Shiva Shiva Sundaranana.
Now jumping to the other one, we also have from Swamiji. Sundara Sundara Shiva Shiva Karuna Bandhura Shiva Shiva Jagadabhirama Shiva Shiva Vigalita Bheda Shiva Shiva Sundara Sundara Shiva Shiva Karuna Bandhura Shiva Shiva. One thing I wanted to jump was Sirivennela Shivatattvam ji would call me as a friend. So I mean, I know him very personally, one-on-one. And I should not say I know him. I mean, fortunately, he knows me. I mean, that's very interesting. But this movie, it was a movie.
This is Advaitam song. This is Advaitam song. Pakka Advaitam song.
But he actually wrote it down. I mean, we heard this way before this film released. And he wrote it for himself offline, and people used to ask him to sing that. And he was always looking to, wherever he goes, he tries to sing this song. And this is actually the Shivatattvam that he wrote it for himself, where Jagam Anta Kutumbam Nadi Ekaki Jivanam Nadi. Strangely, he's also Ekaki, like the Bhagavad Gita shloka, Ekaki Yata Chittatma Nirashira Parigraha. So on one side, Jagamanta is his, but still he's alone. And this difference between that Osho talks about loneliness versus aloneness is so very different. Loneliness is all about
solitude and loneliness. Yeah.
Exactly.
Very different.
Aloneness is fullness, totality, whereas loneliness is partial. And Jagavanta Kutumbam Nadi, Ekaki Jivanam Nadi, Samsara Sagaram Nadi, Sanyasam Shunyam Nadi. Like I think Srini ji was also explaining, from all these sasasa for it, the Mashana to his Samsara Sagara. He can fit everywhere and all forms, looks like. Totally amazing spectrum of Shiva. Kavinai, Kavitanai, Bharyanai, Bhartanai. Kavinai, Kavitanai, Bharyanai, Bhartanai. Mallela Darilo, Manchu Yedarilo. Mallela Darilo, Manchi Yedarilo. Panniti, Jaya Geetala. Kanniti, Jalapatala. Nato Nenu, Anugamistu. Nato Nene, Ramistu. Vantarinai. Anavaratam Kantunnanu Nirantaram Kalalni Kathalni Matalni Patalni Rangulni Rangavallulni Kavya Kannalni Adapillal Jagamanta Kutumbam Nadi
Nadi. This is like the 10.
Beautiful word.
Samsara Sagaram Nadi Sanyasam Shunyam Nadi Samsara Sagaram Nadi Sanyasam Shunyam Nadi Jagamanta Kutumbam Nadi Ekaki Jivanam. Thank you, wonderful. And in fact, I need to remember Sirivennela Shivatattvam. So many wonderful personal experiences with him, and just mind-blowing stuff that I cannot talk on the recorded session. I think when we are off record, I'll also share.
Yeah, I forgot. I wouldn't have sung if it being recorded. I'm mad at myself.
Okay. That's it. Just say Om Namah Shivaya.
Yeah, Sriniji will tweak it, so don't worry.
No, the
I
thing
hope
is,
so.
the Sirivennela debuted with the Sirivennela movie with the Shiva Patalu. Actually, I was going to Nakuda ide alochana vachindi Ramakanth garu. శివుడి గురించి అనగానే మన సిరివెన్నెలది ఏదన్నా శివుడి గురించి చెప్పాలనగానే మీరేమో ఏకదమ్ నా అద్వైతం ద ఫుల్ ఫిలాసఫీ తీసుకుని వెళ్ళారు. బట్ దెర్ ఆర్ ఫ్యూ లైన్స్ I'll try to sing few lines from Andela Ravamidi. How do we actually get to the Shiva-Tattvam, the way he describes the Shiva-Tattvam? And it's actually also the greatest Karma Yoga principle. How can you see the Shiva experience in everything that we do? Andela Ravamidi. But in between, he actually expressed the Namaha Shiva-yah. Nayana tejame nakaramai Mano nischayam makaramai Swasa chalaname shikaramai Vanchitardame vakaramai Yochana sakalamuya-karamai Nadam nakaram mantram makar stotram shikar vedam vakar yajnam yakar Om Namah Shiva-yah. So this is his explanation of Namaha Shiva-yah ani aa padallo cheppi akkadi nunchi. He basically says like Andala Ravamidi Padamulada Ambaramantina Hrudayamada. So basically what he says is whether you are doing a clerical job or cleaning the restrooms or working another place, you can actually experience that Shiva. When you do the bhakti, when you do that with full love, and you can actually experience the Shiva-Tattvam in everything that we do. And Dantlo, he basically says Nayanam nakaramai. So when you are really in that oneness, ekatattva abhyasa, then prati pani kuda yogam అయిపోతుంది. ప్రతి పని కూడా యోగం అయిపోతుందని. అలాగే మన వేటూరి గారు దీనికి మన కాళిదాస శ్లోకానికి he added a beautiful song in the movie Sagar Sangamam. But let me sing just the Kalidasa Sutra. Kalidasa thing. It's about Umagaru, Parvati, Shivula gurinchi. Vagarta viva samvruttau Vagarta pratipattaye Jagatat pitarau vande Parvati Parameshwaram Vande Parvati Parameshwaram. So this one is Mana Balasubramaniam garu. Asalki the way he sings the whole thing just reverberates. And din meeda kuda oka chinna Rameshwaram, Parameshwaram ani. There used to be this fight between Vaishnavites and Shaivites. Is Shiva Rama Shiva or is Rama Shiva's Rama? So who is the boss? Vishnu is the boss or Shiva is the boss? And then they basically come and say like both are one and the same. Both are one and the same. But on that note, what a great celebration! And I was able to. The best highlight for me today is Sushila Magaru on the video.
అది మీరు కట్ చేస్తున్నారు, నన్ను తర్వాత మాట్లాడతాం మీతోటి.
ఎవరు మీరెవరు నేనెవరు మీరెవరు నేనెవరు ఇట్ ఇస్ లైక్ I don't know you. ఇంతమంది చెప్పారు no ఇంతమంది మన రమాకాంత్ గారు చెప్పారు
Raghu told me, Raghu आपने बताया ना कि काटेगा बोल के.
No, ekaki jeevitam nadi. So I'm like, now I don't know anybody. So the video is mine.
Yeah.
Everything.
We'll put a smiley face.
కదా ఏం చేస్తానంటే అదొక్కటే, మిగిలినవన్నేమో గ్యాలరీలో రికార్డ్ చేస్తా. ఓన్లీ సుశీలమ్మ గారిది మాత్రం ఇండివిజువల్ ఉంటుంది. Right?
That will go on Spotify.
And then it goes in into the YEC promotional video, and apparently you know how to make good videos, YouTube videos. So we're going to make that
I
with
do
the
not
first
know how to make videos. I know how to post things.
Mahesha Papa.
Uma edits.
Edit that time.
Started the last
Yes,
time, right?
Savi, that is definitely my skill. I'm not kidding. I clip. Anytime my voice is there, I'm so good at it. You can't even tell I spoke in between. I do a good job of clipping me out.
Okay, chalo.
So you start posting and then start to sing.
You know,
No, Uma, it was very nice. It was very nice.
You need to do more
You've
of
heard me sing randomly, Savi. Kya bolte ho?
I know.
But absolutely, I'm not even trying to do anything. Your voice is so beautiful. It was given. What is that? Manam Chamakamla Nechkunam, Swaraschame, Slokaschame, Shavaschame, Shrutischame. Ivanni Shivudive. When Shiva is there and he was there, you know, why do you push it down? You know, you basically surrender to Shiva. Only sing Shiva songs.
Okay, good idea.
Right? Only sing Shiva
Savi
songs.
can be my tutor.
Then తర్వాత botany పాఠం అందు కూడా వచ్చేస్తుంది. Yeah.
That's why even for what is that today for Shavasana also we heard Shiva song.
Raghuji beautifully playing nice Shiva song for us for Shavasana.
Okay, chalo. And on that note, Ramakanth garu, that Jagamanta Kuduma, my brother just came. We both are planning to go to Hanuman temple now. But Jagamanta Kuduma, this is something that we both will sing. We always sing like a duet. My brother and I.
Why don't you both sing then for us?
Yeah, please.
Shrikant. He's koncham Umagar lago koncham sigma anamata.
We are not international people, so we are okay.
Shrikant. Just
very, very informal, just on recording, very informal crowd.
We can stop the recording also if
my big brother.
We can stop recording and then have him sing.
Hello everyone.
It's all recording is full end to end.
Yeah, actually, you remember last time when we did the Shivaratri, you actually sang Shankaravarnam song.
Yeah, I think so.
Right?
Yeah.
My brother ekdam na Shankara Nada Shrirapara. He went to the top scale.
I can do that now too.
So at that time, this gang was just getting formed. Uma was not in the scene.
Nope.
And Raghu was also not in the scene. I think it was Ramakanth garu and then Kiran, and we were doing some of those things. I think Savitha just joined at that time.
Yeah, I think around I don't remember.
You're celebrating 1 year with YEC, Savi.
Actually, and she still survives actually, right?
I know, I'm still surviving.
Which is a good thing. So that shows that, you know, you guys have so much of karuna and upeksha. So as we discussed.
Either that or we like punishment.
Exactly. Karuna and Pakistan. Okay.
We like jobs. Afare.
Afare, exactly. The afare is a good one, actually. Okay. Shall everybody close your eyes? Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukinaha Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhagvavet Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Jai Bolo Om Namah Shiva-yah. Chalo, everybody stay erect. Keep your spine erect for some more time.
I am going to bed.
So, but Ramakantji, are we supposed to do Jagarna tonight or tomorrow night? India the ikkadi pedda confusion naku.
Rendu cheste baane untaru.
Rendu cheste baane untadi. Mancham kuda ekkutam tarvata. I do not want to do that, but I would like to stay up one night. So what should that be, Ramakanth?
See, you know,
in the temple they are doing it tonight, so I think you just have to do it tonight.
Is that right? Okay.
The thing is, the Umagaru, the time is 10:30. If you do it, you know, time also study. Tomorrow ante malli you just
11:30. We are in Eastern time. We are
11:30. Yeah, exactly. So you're almost there. You just finish it.
Half an hour more, you're good.
Savi, aap अपन दोनों भजन करेंगे ना?
I am not.
Acha Ramakanth garu, we'll say we are heading to the.
There is a reason God has given us good sleep, good food. Just eat and be merry to some degree.
Somebody was singing that song, right? Where it says like, we see you in the Shivade dantlo nidralo kuda ninne chustaman. So
Exactly, we can dream. We can dream about him.
So, nidralo and everything is there. Okay, chalo. Everybody have a
All right.
fantastic.
Enjoy your evening, guys, at the temple.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.